Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is giant pick man with an impressive jawline, Dan Ryan.
Yep, that's me.
I have questions. All aboard the SAG Cartoon Express. We've watched another episode of Double Dragon, and boy, do we have feelings. Good ones? Bad ones? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Climb aboard your enormous motorcycle because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
Why does it have a standy bit on the back?
Why wouldn't it have a standy bit on the back? That's where the action figures go, Dan.
Oh, no, that's actually a really fair point. That's probably it.
It is indeed. This is episode 562. It's the week of April 18th, 2025, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the heck else is going on in our lives. Speaking of which, Dan, how are you now?
I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good, Kris. I've had a pretty good week. I got some lovely, like, first of all, in all seriousness, an incredibly lovely package from one of our listeners. You have an
incredibly lovely package.
No, absolutely. It's gorgeous. It's fucking still hairless,
Sorry,
which is weird.
Just couldn't let that one slide.
Nor should you. But we didn't discuss whether or not he wanted me to say that I received a package. So I'm not going to say the name. I don't know. That might be weird. One of our listeners sent me a wonderful congratulations on kicking the shit out of cancer package. And it just had a wonderful assortment of things in there, including a picture that I will be framing of Ninja Baseball Batman, which made me just incredibly happy, and some treats and some coffee and some local honey and just all of these wonderful, thoughtful things. And I was just so incredibly touched by it. And it also included, which my kid immediately tried to steal from me, but I refused to let her, a sealed physical copy of Inscription for the Nintendo Switch, which is just what an amazing gift. I am just so I remain consistently blown away by the generosity and love from our listeners. They are an incredible group of people, and we are very, very lucky to be in the position that we're in, and to have them. I just thank you. It's incredible. So, like I said, I don't want to. We didn't discuss whether or not I was going to say anything on the show. So I don't want to, like, if that's weird, I don't want to say anything. But you know who you are. I love you. Thank you. I also got like a package from my cousin. He sent me a congratulations for kicking the shit out of cancer package, which was also very lovely. My cousin sent me the last two Beatles records that I needed. I now have the full vinyl run of Beatles records, including the Butcher Babies cover, which is wild. I did get a repress of it, but because I'm not spending that kind of money on a Beatles record, but I now have the full discography, which makes me incredibly happy. He sent me a couple Popeye figures that Mezco did from a long time ago that are really awesome. I'm really excited to have those. I fucking love Popeye. And then he sent me a copy of Sekiro, so I have to start that. I can say Cronodin's name because it was very obvious that it's in the SAG chat. He just gifted me Slay the Princess, so I have now that to look forward to coming up this week. Fucking South of Midnight came out today. I have to pick that up. because it apparently plays very well on the Steam Deck. So I don't need to buy an Xbox for that, which is awesome. And I still have $30 left from all the money you fucking wonderful people gifted me at the beginning. So I only got to spend $10 on this game. And I will finally match everyone else and have no money in my Steam account any longer. But it's taken me a long time to get down to zero. So I've got just all of these wonderful, generous things that were given to me this week. I've got a lot of really awesome games to look forward to. Yeah, man, like things are pretty good. You know, I had to shave. I had to line up my beard, Kris, last night. It finally, like, the lump on my neck from my surgery has finally gone down enough to where I was like, all right, I really have to get the neck beard part of the beard off. But I had to, like, then line up the beard under, like, on the jawline. I felt so good. Shaving my beard, like the neck beard. And, like, I feel like me. It's cool. I'm very excited about it.
Well, that's wonderful news. I'm so glad that your beard is bearding the way it should.
It is. It's very dark, though. That is one thing that I am finding very interesting. Like, I'm sure it's going to lighten up the more that it comes in. But right now, my beard looks like I had black hair originally. And I definitely did not. But my beard is that dark. Except for my chin, which is white. Because I'm old. And I have white hair. And I've told my children it's their fault.
It likely is.
I mean, it definitely is. It 100% is. But yeah, things are going in positive directions, Kris. Except for the fucking weather, where apparently we're supposed to get snow flurries tomorrow.
Yeah, I did not approve of that. Nobody ran that shit past me.
Again, I really do like the cold weather. I'm very happy, but I need it to stay consistent, especially like with the neuropathy in my hands and feet. The fucking weather changes that we've been going through over the last like week or two, and the pressure going up. Holy shit, has that sent me like into just a tizzy in the morning. I wake up and I'm like, all right, let's fucking, I gotta like check in with all of my pieces. Like, all right, let's mentally go down to the hands and make sure they're still working. Yep, all right, it's a little creaky. Like the fucking Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, dude. I gotta fucking oil up before. I mean, I usually oil up, but this is not in a sexy way. I just have to like...
Well, speaking of wonderful listeners, we had I didn't remember on the mailbag episode, we had a last minute call from one of our listeners to come meet up with us in New York, and unfortunately that did not pan out. Dan couldn't go, and I was going to go, and then he was there on a work trip, and then at the last minute yesterday he told me that his work was going to overflow into the next day, so he wasn't going to be able to meet up, which was kind of a bummer. But it was this close to hopping a train in New York and hanging out with somebody for a day, which would have been nice. It really kind of put into my head just how much I am in dire need of a day off.
Yes.
Like an actual day off, not like, because you work all day every day, and then the weekend is like, well, it's time to catch up on all the chores. Like, now it's grocery shopping and sweeping and dusting and vacuuming and mopping and folding
and
laundry
and all of that shit.
The whole everything else. Like, there's no rest. There's no like, no, I'm going to take some time to relax. Like that doesn't happen.
I'm going to have a me minute. Not even a me day. I'm just going to have a me minute.
I'm feeling like I'm going to need to... I'm going to want to take a personal day at some time soon. I do have some vacation time to spend. I get 2 weeks of vacation time, but one of those weeks is always spoken for by the children at Christmas time. So I have 1 week to spend throughout the course of the year that I could potentially spend on myself. And I haven't decided what to do about that quite yet. And I do have some spring break plans. We're going to the in-laws' house, and apparently going to help them build a trampoline, which I hope I'm more qualified to build a trampoline than I am to build a swimming pool. I don't know if you remember that fun.
I do. I do remember that fiasco.
It's still standing.
That is not nothing.
I feel like a trampoline's got to be easier than a swimming pool. I feel confident. I'm going to pull this off.
I mean, boy, you should not have put that out into the universe. That, because like that, there's like fun. Heavy springs and they're stretchy, and you got to get them in the little hole before they like spring back and fucking take out an eyeball or a tooth at the very least.
Yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to go flawlessly.
Yeah,
no question. Got this one in the bag.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. When is this happening? I need to start looking for a new co-host. In case you don't come back. I just want to make sure I got somebody lined up.
I'm going to be gone next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll be back in time to record Friday night. So I'll just give you the story straight away. Just right off
excellent.
the bat. You'll know where I am as soon as if I'm recording from the hospital. Then that's where I'm recording from, you know.
So I've currently got part of the trampoline through my mouth. The hook just went right into the cheek.
Like a fish. And there's this other, I'm going to go up there to my sister-in-law's house to help her organize her garage, which I'm really excited about. There's nothing quite like an organization project to really get me going. She has this enormous 3-car garage that's like separate from her house. It's like this just because, you know, this place is her house is a converted barn. And then there's this other thing. It's this other building. Like the bottom of it is it 3 bays or 4 bays? And it's 3 bays. And then above it is this other, like, was her ex-husband's workspace, right? So she's trying to like clean all this stuff out. But she knows that I have a passion for intelligent organizing, and she wants me to come up and spend a couple of days and just like go to town on that place, make it functional, throw out what needs to be thrown out, organize it, and make it actually functional workspace. And I'm like, fuck yes, that sounds like exactly what I need out of my life. Turn off all of the distractions, just go out there for a couple of days and just work on organizing. Take a giant, and when I say it's a giant mess, I mean it's just floor to ceiling nonsense.
Mess. Yeah.
And I get free reign to go in there and fuck shit up. I'm so excited about it. I gotta do that to my own garage too.
Yeah, I have to do that to my garage. My garage is a fucking disaster because, you know, the entire time that I was getting... So basically since last May, like once we started heading down this path, like everything else took a back seat, right? Obviously. Right. And then once I started going through all the treatments and shit and wasn't able to do stuff, everything just became, I don't know, throw it in the fucking garage. Or, I don't know, throw it in the fucking attic. And my garage and my attic in particular are just a fucking disastrophe. And I'm honestly excited, like you. I get excited about that, like, oh, I get to go, like, put stuff places where it should be. And I'm very excited about that. But you, my friend, this is what you actually need to figure out a way to monetize. This is the business. I don't know how you turn that into a business, but that's your life's work. That's your calling. Just going around to people's houses and they give you money to fucking fix their life, like, organizationally. That's gotta be, there's gotta be a way we can fucking monetize that.
I feel confident that you're right. I don't know how to make it happen, though. I feel like
I don't either.
I feel like you need to already be independently wealthy to get that kind of job.
That very well might be the case. But man, because like you've got, not for nothing, but like there's a lot of older people in your neck of the woods. Not necessarily like that you live with a bunch of old people, but there's a lot of older going down the shore kind of people in houses and areas down there where like they could use that kind of stuff. A strapping young man to come in and move Mildred's boxes from left to right in a way that makes sense.
I do love the notion that it has crossed my mind, but alas.
Anyway, yeah. Let's work on that. Let's make that
doesn't have anything to do with double tracking.
It really doesn't. I don't know. How much more can we talk about before we... God, this... All right. So I took notes. I did. Hold on.
I took some notes too.
Up.
I have some thoughts. See, Yeah. I have a backup plan for like if we really can't talk about this for more than a couple of minutes. Not that I'm going to say no and get into bed on time. I have a backup plan for a fun topic that I think we could have a good time chatting about. But yeah, let us have lettuce.
I just dribbled beer on myself like it's like a fucking rookie, Kris, like a common fucking teenager. Ugh.
All right, choo-choo, motherfuckers. We're on the SAG Cartoon Express, and this month's cartoon was Double Dragon, Season 1, Episode 11, Heart of the Matter, originally aired November 21st, 1993. The official description on IMDb is, Kami, the master of the Komodo Dojo, recruits a junior dragon named Michael and uses him to attack the Shadow Dojo and take revenge on the Shadow Master. However, when Michael is captured, Kami must put aside her desire for vengeance by teaming up with the dragons to free Michael.
So, like, this is a fucking season-long storyline that was boiled down into, like, 18 and a half minutes. Like, man, exposition? Nah, we don't. So, like, this episode starts off with this kid who, I don't know, do we know that Michael is a junior dragon? I know he has the fucking patch on.
We must, right? This is episode 11. He must have existed in previous episodes.
I doubt that must is the appropriate fucking adjective to use for this show. May is people far more likely. Regardless. So this kid who I didn't know, but I assumed, like, from the youth of his, the everything about him, and the dragon on the gi that he was wearing, I assumed he was somewhat affiliated with them.
He's a dragon in training. He wasn't just, perving on whichever red blonde-haired one is doing his little spinny kick things.
Oh, that's Jimmy. Yeah. Jimmy is in there, and he is practicing a very advanced shadow technique that this kid just looks at him doing and is able to immediately replicate without any instruction whatsoever.
He's Taskmaster, basically. He knows what he's... Surprise, this is Taskmaster's origin story.
My very first note is, so he can just do this advanced shit, no problem? Cool, this is going to be a great episode.
See, my first note. My first note is from before that. My first note is, this intro is still fantastic. Rhyming bragging with dragon is nothing short of art.
It is art. That's right. You can make anything work.
Bragging and dragon.
It's a bragging dragon.
Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, yes.
Right there. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So then Michael goes out there. He's just roaming the streets of wherever the fuck, and
where everyone's in karate gis. And
of course,
passes an alley in broad daylight, as you do. And of course, if you are in a cartoon and you pass an alley, someone's getting beat up by a couple of street toughs.
100%. That is just happening fucking everywhere all the time. Have you been?
I didn't make them.
No, it just is what. So he goes in and he kicks the shit out of these guys using a very advanced technique that Billy comes and admonishes him for. And he's like, you should fucking think with your heart instead of your dick, or whatever he says. It's something to that
dark
effect.
Technique from his days. From his days working 20 years.
20 years working for the Shadow Master.
How old is he?
He's 50. Obviously, he just looks good for his age.
20 years with the Shadow.
Yeah,
what?
I mean, if you start training when you're 6 or 7, I don't know, that seems like... Look, I'm on season 6 of fucking Cobra Kai, and we're in Double Dragon territory now with this fucking old dude and the original Cobra Kai shit. Like, we've come off the rails quite a bit here. Like, I still am enjoying it, but, like, come on.
Come on. It was time for that show to end, and it does. It pulls it together.
I'm very excited.
It pulls it together. I'm not going to say a damn thing, but I will say it pulls it together. So, like, have you done anything with the snake in the cave yet? Is that what that is?
Yeah. No, the last episode I watched was the first fights in the Sakai Takai. Where like they just get fucking embarrassed, and then those like weird Norwegian, I don't know, they're fucking European, like four of the dudes like kneel on the mat so they're out, and then the giant motherfucker is like, whatever, we'll fuck these Cobra Kais up, and they do, and it was embarrassing for, I don't know, fucking shitty Asian kid, I don't remember his name. Is that his name?
Sure, why not? It really doesn't matter.
I think so. Anyway, like that's the episode. But yeah, the episode where like the dagger is not the fucking prize or whatever the fuck. What are we doing?
Oh God! I remember when we watched that one. Karen and I turned to each other at the end of it and like, this better be going somewhere, because I tell you,
oh my God,
this is not what I signed up for.
No, it was so good and logical at the beginning, and where we are now versus Johnny Lawrence restarting Cobra Kai 5 seasons ago is just, whoa, boy, is it off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Off the rails hard. Meanwhile, double Dragon cartoon. Yeah,
so this fucking kid is able to perfectly replicate a technique that took Jimmy fucking 20 years studying at the hands of the Shadow Master. And Billy comes in and he's like, don't do that. Okay, bye. And then he just leaves them in an alley where there was just an attack by a group of scorpions.
Yeah, but you forgot to mention what he fucking rolled up on. He didn't just show up. He rolls up in the most absurd motorcycle you've ever seen in your life. Just like some marketing team was like, what is the most toyable thing that we could possibly create for this cartoon to make this weird, enormous tricycle with a...
It's a fucking chopper. It's a chopper tricycle with a section. You're right. There were pegs on the back for the little dude to fucking stick his feetsies in so he wouldn't fall off. Jesus Christ.
That thing was amazing. I mean, that thing made like the things that the various vehicles that the various Ghost Riders have ridden around. It makes that stuff seem modest.
It really does. It's something that Lobo would drive by and be like, that's a bit ostentatious, I feel.
You've crossed the line. I think that's a bit much.
That's a bit much, guys. What the fuck are we doing? All right, I'm going to go kill Santa Claus. In the classic paramilitary Christmas special. It's one of the greatest comic books ever made. Anyway, yeah. Oh, fuck, my phone closed. And I'm only through 3 notes. Sting 'em! I wrote that a bunch of times.
Hold on, let me see. I want to make sure I'm caught up with you, because my notes were already in, let's see, no, my only other note was, boy, that is some motorcycle. So yeah, we're good. We're caught up. Right.
So then Cammy because the guys after Billy leaves his young charge Michael in the alley where the attack just happened, wouldn't you know, a group of scorpions shows up with additional scorpions. But thankfully, Cammy, who I don't think we've met before, some fucking robot silver samurai looking motherfucker.
She's a superhuman samurai cyber squad reject.
She might as well be.
My initial note for that. She shows up and kicks the shit out of everybody, and I wrote down, what in tarnation is this lady?
And then she takes off her armor and gets bigger. Like in that scene when she takes the armor off for the first, because the fucking scale is wildly out of proportion from scene to scene. She takes the armor off and her shoulders are wider. It's like, what? That's not how that works. Anyway, so then she starts talking to him and calling him Michael. How does she know his name's Michael?
Well, she was spying on him.
Was she?
No, dude, we're on top of the building.
Oh, okay. Sure. Does
that not answer your question? Because
So like she's like, all right, come on. I've chosen you to fight the Shadow Master because you're pure of heart. Even though your fucking teacher just came in here and was like, dude, you weren't pure of heart right there.
You best knock it off with these dark arts, sir. You're pure of heart. I know we just met, but why don't you come out here and avenge my father?
And then we're going to train in this unbelievably high-tech dojo with shit popping out of the floors and a fucking cyborg Komodo dragon. Or no, android.
It was an android
relax.
Komodo?
It's an android Komodo dragon that almost fucking eats this kid when they walk in.
They walk in, and he's like, what is this? Like, oh, that's only an android Komodo. And I'm, excuse me, only?
Yeah, that's the only, like, we just, and we just move on.
That's all? That's
holy fuck.
Oh, that's all that is? Yeah, I've got one of those at home. No, you don't. Don't. Where did you get it? What is its name? What is its purpose? What does it do? What does it eat? I have questions.
And this, for any of our listeners who didn't watch this episode, we're like 4 minutes in. Like, that's it. Like, we've got like 4.5 minutes at best. We're fucking trucking along with plot here. No exposition given whatsoever. She shows up. She's like, I fucking choose you, Pikachu. And off we go. Like, God damn it.
So you mentioned the training facility. She's like trying to get him to kill the Shadow Master.
Yeah.
And she's got this dummy, right? So this big dummy comes out of the floor, and she's like, you've got to destroy it. You've got to destroy it. And then he's just like, I don't know, man. I just got here. I don't even remember your name. Like, how did I get in this outfit? Or just barely getting started. And then she destroys the thing. And my immediate thought was like, well, how's he supposed to destroy it now? And then 13 more of them pop up out of the floor. Who set this up? Did she do that? And when? How long did it take?
Maybe you would have gotten the Shadow Master if you weren't stuffing the floor full of fucking Mokujins to pop out for you to fucking destroy with some random kid you picked up in an alley. This is a poorly thought out plan. Oh my God. So then we go another minute. Because you're right, all of this is this entire episode appears to take place in the span of an hour and a half, maybe. Like we go from not knowing each other to, yes, I will wear your dead father's armor to avenge him? ? But also stand up for my dojo because they're treating me like a child, which I am. And with no training, stop the Shadow Master. We're just going to yell that a bunch of times until Jimmy, then, we cut to a scene of Jimmy trying to get some info because he sees a scorpion gi, a ripped gi in the fucking alleyway. Why'd you go back, Jim? I don't know. So he goes to the Scorpion's hideout to ask some
big,
questions.
Giant scorpion sign hanging up on the outside.
Yeah, real fucking subtle, assholes.
And this dude's just fuck doorknobs.
Yeah, try knocking, Jimmy. That was my note. Maybe try knocking instead of beating the shit out of everybody.
Just saying, if you've got questions, you could ask. Maybe they are not looking for a fight. Maybe you go in there and just kind of intimidate them a little bit. No,
hey,
fuck
guys.
Doorknobs, kicks the fucking door off the hinges immediately. Comes in at a 10.
Use your words, Jimmy. Use your words. That's all I'm saying. So they give you a little bit of exposition there where they're like, they're going to kill the Shadow Master or whatever the fuck. I don't know how they knew that. That didn't seem that just seemed like a good guess from the Scorpions, or maybe I missed a piece. But we then end up with Cammy or was it Kami or Cammy? Does it matter?
It's Cammy. It was written down Kami, which is how you spell Kami in Dragon Ball, which is why in the description I read Kami, but they said Cammy.
Okay, so Silver Samurai fucking goes in. And they're fighting and shit. And she tells Michael to use his energy whip that thing that I never showed you how to use, and he's like, oh shit, no problem. And he just starts fucking
he
whipping
knew how
up
to
on
use
dudes.
it because he saw her use it, and that's how he works. He can just replicate. Remember, he's fucking
you're right.
Taskmaster.
You're right. I did forget that he was Proto Taskmaster. Son of a bitch. That made this whole episode, you just tied up the loose end for me. It all makes sense now.
Now it's a 10 out of 10.
10
what
out of 10.
Were they fighting?
11.
What in the world were they fighting? Like,
yes,
those did not appear to be iterations of villains from the Double Dragon games. I'm like, all right, is there an Abobo involved here or something? Like, what were those two? Was it some sort of giant pink motherfucker?
Yeah, and then another dude with like a cannon for an arm.
I want to say it was Ice Pick and something Jaw. I'm looking at the IMDb page, and there's a character named Ice Pick for this episode. But
yeah, that sounds right.
Like, its name was something Jaw. I could swear it was something Jaw, and I was like, well, that makes sense.
Slut Jaw. That works. Pink Jaw and Pink Trap, and yeah, these were, I mean, just generic, like, we could maybe make an action figure out of this guy.
It's just like you know what, let's take King Hippo from Captain and the Game Master.
There you go.
And, beef him up a little bit more. And not for nothing, I want to say that the flamey transitions, how we get to one scene from the next.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty fucking rad.
Nice dissolve. Like, every time really some shit like that happens, that's all I can think of is Spaceballs. Like, oh, nice dissolve. God, this fucking episode sucked. This was so much worse somehow.
Shadow Master's voice.
Oh,
Jim
God.
Burns. I love that. Yeah. That guy's... That's the thing. Like, there are a handful of, like, voice actors in here. Like, who did Jimmy? Oh, Scott McNeil, who I know from Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z and various like Transformers and stuff. Ian James Corlett was in here, but like Jim Burns, Shadow Master, like this show was the hottest of garbage, but a handful of the voice actors are just some of my favorites. Like these guys were so much better than the scripts that they were given.
Oh yeah,
Cyborg Komodo Dragon was a huge disappointment. Just the hugest disappointment. It did nothing.
No, it did nothing. What I liked a lot about this fight,
take his sword when they locked him up. They locked him up, and he was just like,
"Yeah,
what?
It's cool.
He's
I've got
this
this
sword that can just slice right through the bars. Who the fuck cares? What?"
But before that, when Michael and Cammy are fighting Shadow Master and Ice Dick and Dick Pick and whatever the fuck their names were, Michael's Sonya Blade's a dude. I don't know if you caught that part. He does like the leg grab throw. That was my note. Oh shit, Sonya Blade. And then there's one point where Cammy tries to whip Shadow Master, and he basically is like, fuck off. And he just kind of like brushes it aside. And she goes, oh no. And then she does literally the same fucking attack again, which is ridiculous. And then my favorite note that I took while watching this show is he said whelp. I wonder how you spell it, because he called Michael a whelp. And that is about as inside fucking baseball as jokes are going to get this evening. And if you're not on the Discord, you're really missing out on the show after the show.
Wondrous.
It's a whole other thing. So yeah, then they go down. They're stuck. They're stuck in the like they trap them or whatever, and Shadow Master is like, oh, I'm just gonna burn the armor off of you. And then Jimmy and Billy are talking, and they're like, we gotta find Michael. We should be looking. And then he's like, no, I'm just gonna use the power of the dragon to find him. And he does. And start with that next time. You have a power to find lost children, apparently. And what are you doing? You're riding a shitty motorcycle and teaching questionable martial arts instead of saving children. What a fucking selfish prick you guys are. That just goes right to him. Like, oh, take me to the Komodo dragon. Oh, here it is. Fuck. That was easy. Ugh. This is bad show, Kris.
Yeah, this was not
this
good.
episode is so much worse than the other one we watched.
Oh my god, last year's one, the cyberspace episode was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh god. This was bad. All right, let me see what else do I have here? Yes, is this all happening in the same night? So Jimmy is like, we got to go save Michael. He goes to find Cammy, and he's like, we're going to go save Michael after they like do a little fighting or whatever. And then he says, we're going to take some time to get properly introduced on the way over. So like, that means he fucked her on the way over. Like, that's what I took that to be. First, we're going to stop and fuck real quick, because we know from the other episode we watched that this dude fucks. Like, that's what he does. He just goes around and he fucks. That's a dude who gets his dick wet when he can. And, go off,
just
young man.
like in the game.
Just like in the game. Billy and Jimmy, they fuck. That was the original tagline at the bottom of it, but they thought it's maybe a bit too edgy for some of our conservative friends. God. So anyway, then they do end up getting taken hostage. They fall through an incredibly obvious trap door. Like, we're in this dungeon, apparently, with all these stones. I wonder why this metal bronze fucking section of the floor. Let's stand on it for a little bit while Shadow Master talks some shit. Oh, God. Probably. Fucking Jesus Christ. Then what does he say? He said something about, like, you can't fight evil with evil. That only brings out more evil. And I gotta disagree, because that's not how math works. A negative times a negative is a positive. Evil times evil should equal positive, is all I'm saying. The show is bullshit, Kris.
I think its entire logic is flawed. I think you're right.
Well, the worst logic part of this the entire time is that, like, so at the end of the episode, spoilers, at the end of the episode, Shadow Master gets some of the armor. Because apparently the armor could only come off of Michael. That's the whole thing. Shadow Master wanted this, like, mystical armor. It was going to double his power or whatever the fuck. And the only way that this armor could get off of Michael is if Cammy took it off of him herself, which is okay. I mean, that is a thing that one human wrote down and then somebody else drew, because when she does take it off of him, she just kind of like slaps it off of him and it just kind of crumbles to the floor. That was weird. But then Shadow Master puts it on and they're like, knock him into the fire. It'll melt the armor. But 5 minutes before that, Shadow Master was lowering Michael with the armor into the fire because he thought he would melt Michael. Like, what are we doing? How did he not know? He was going to murder this kid, but apparently the kid would have been fine and the armor would have melted. Because that's how fire works, Kris. Shadow Master, totally fine. This ancient, impenetrable super armor fucking melts like marshmallow, and he's just standing there like, shit. What are we doing? Oh, God. And then the episode ends, as it should, with Billy, or whoever the dark-haired one is, saying, Michael, I'm not going to treat you like a child anymore. To which my immediate thought was, but he's a child. What are you doing?
How was that the lesson?
Like, okay, this kid's like 14 at best. It's like, well, I was a man at that age, the owner of my own plantation. Like, why the fuck is this interview with the vampire? What happened? Woof. Just woof.
Well, let's see. Let's see what our listeners had to say about this. I don't think we had a whole lot of participation this time around. Duroc Pig said, when Jimmy starts talking about his 20 years with the Shadow Master, my first thought is, that's the episode of this show I would actually want to see. That's a very good point, Duroc Pig. I don't want to see that.
Nope. You get what you get.
That is not what we get. Trashman says, okay, I'm entering this with no context. Why is everyone dressed like a thug or a hobo? We're in cosplay. Sting 'em!
Yup, sting 'em!
Wouldn't be an extreme 90s cartoon without a dragon bike that has a stand on the back. Dang, we have dragons, scorpions, and Komodo dragons in this hood. Anything is fair as long as you beat your enemy. Ah, yes, words to live by. Whoa,
that's how we've gotten this far, Kris.
Whoa, this girl found a random kid on the street and is giving him her father's sacred armor. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. Trash Man also said, the Shadow Master said, well, Double Dragon is teaching us all grammar. Again, join the Discord, kids.
Yeah, you really should. You're missing out.
Wow, that armor fell right off. And final notes, I'm pretty sure Billy and Jenny take steroids.
100%.
They're just drawn
just
that
like
way.
David Ortiz. That's right.
And then Chronodin said, I don't know if I'm going to get to watch it in time, but I'm definitely going to watch it because to be a dragon, you got to be strong. This show's got a great theme song. Killer theme song.
It is so downhill after that theme song. It is just right in the fucking toilet. But like, in all seriousness, this episode was so much worse than the other one. And the other one was bad.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Information Superhighway, whatever the fuck that one was called. That was not a good episode of television. But this was so much worse. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it definitely was not what I was hoping for. I was hoping that that there was going to be a little bit more
coherence,
the fun stupid. I was looking for more of the fun stupid.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that. We didn't get the fun stupid. We just got the stupid.
And it really is such a bummer too, because the idea behind the Double Dragon cartoon is sort of solid. Like, it's not the worst idea for a cartoon. It's not any worse than so many other cartoon shows. It's just executed so fucking poorly.
It really is. It came from a really bad crop of cartoons, which is unfortunate.
Like, Shadow Master is a cool villain. Like, he's a cool design. I mean, he's kind of a lazy design, but he's still kind of cool and intimidating, and like his big staff thing is kind of cool looking. There's a solid idea there, but man, they just really phoned it in for the most part. It's just very disappointing.
Not a great show. So I guess it's time for us to rank. It's time to put it on the list. So right now in first place, we have Legend of Zelda, Season 1, Episode 7, Underworld Connections. In second place, we have... I'm assuming it's not beating Legend of Zelda, correct?
No, it is not.
It is also not beating Mega Man Bot Transfer.
No.
So the question is this better or worse than Darkstalkers Samurai's Honor?
Oh, God, that was real bad.
Yeah, this is pretty close, I think. This is a very similar level of wretched.
Yeah, there's just a
part
certain
of me wants
jank
to say
to both of these.
Part of me wants to put this above Darkstalkers because it's got the better intro. It's got the motorcycle.
It does. That motorcycle is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
I kind of felt like Darkstalkers, and I don't remember it as well. Like, I've forgotten so much of Darkstalkers, which doesn't really speak much to it.
Bishamon, like, taking that kid, fucking Damien comes in and just, like, eats that kid's parents right in front of him.
Yeah,
like, that shit was pretty fucking dark.
I don't feel like it was not that this was fun, but I feel like Samurai's Honor was less fun. Like, I don't know. It's pretty close, but I would personally think I'd put this above Samurai's Honor.
Yeah, I think I agree, but so slightly ahead of Samurai's Honor.
It's basically a tie, right?
Yeah.
Basically a tie.
Splitting hairs at this point.
Giving it just like the tiniest of an edge, I would say. But they're both dead. They're both dead last.
Yeah, they were bad. They were bad.
Yeah.
Bad news bears.
Bad cartoons. Bad shows, and they should feel bad about it.
They should.
Well, we could stop there, but I did have something I wanted to mess around with a little bit because I thought it could be vaguely fun. It's not related to the Cartoon Express. It was something that I was talking about with John the other night.
Do we want to spin the wheel first?
Oh yes, let's spin the wheel first. You're right. I'm sorry.
We'll wrap that up totally. Okay.
Yeah, completely knocked that one off. All right, let's see. Did I already remove Double Dragon from the list? I did. All right.
Excellent.
Wheel of Morality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. And the show is... Oh boy, it's going to be close. What did it land on? Oh,
show me potato salad.
Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Oh, finally. Finally.
Oh, I have seen almost none of this show, and I am to understand that it is wretched. Oh boy, this is exciting. All right, so...
I feel like we have a contender for last place.
We do. We do. All right, so Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm is the show. Now let's go, let's find what episode we're going to watch. So, Mortal Kombat. It was almost Street Fighter. It was so close to Street Fighter, and then it landed right on Mortal Kombat. It's like, boy, hooray. Because I really want to watch the Street Fighter one, too. I'm not going to lie.
No, I know. You say hooray at weird things. I
like the name of this one already. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, Season 1, Episode 8, The Secret of Quan Chi.
Oh, fuck. All right. We're going hot and heavy into Mortal Kombat lore. I wonder how they're going to animate him ripping off someone's leg and beating the shit out of the other person with it.
See, I didn't realize that this show had happened when Quan Chi was already a character. But I guess when was Mortal...
Quan Chi was Mortal Kombat 4.
Yeah.
Which
when was Mortal Kombat 4?
8?
Mortal Kombat 4 was... jeez. Yeah, all right. So Mortal Kombat 4 was 97.
Okay.
And this show aired... Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. Let's find... Oh, Clancy motherfucking Brown plays Raiden in this show?
Oh, shit.
Ron fucking Perlman is in this show? What?
Good God.
Oh, boy. Okay, so wait a second.
Somebody needed a paycheck.
Wow, Mortal Kombat 4 was 97, but this show is from 95 to 96.
Oh, so...
Interesting.
Wait, Quan Chi...
Was he already part of the
show?
Was he already part of the mythology by then? I mean...
I don't know, because we would have had... Because we would have been up to, I think Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had been out by then, and that had a bunch of like DLC and shit.
Mortal Kombat Mythologies was 1997. And again, that's 1997. It's not 95, 96. Well, all right.
Well, consider me fucking intrigued.
Quan Chi. I need to know Quan Chi's origin. Let's see. Quan Chi. Give me a fandom page. The Mortal Kombat wiki. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, because it was Shang Tsung, then fucking Shao Kahn, then who was the boss of 3? Wasn't it Shao Kahn again?
It was Shao Kahn again, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Quan Chi made his debut in the animated series Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. What the hell? I didn't know Quan Chi came from this.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we're citing the deep magic here.
Oh, God.
Wow.
This is the kind of shit that makes me just love the universe at times, because I'm going to hate watch this episode.
November 9th, 1996, and there's a little picture of him here, and it's Quan Chi. It's not like that's that character, 100%.
Wow.
Bald white head and everything. Amazing.
Outstanding.
Wow. All right. So there you have it, folks. Season 1, Episode 8, The Secret of Quan Chi. Let me go ahead and put it in the old Cartoon Express.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be a fun one. We're watching well, I don't know if this is the first episode he appears in. This could just be about his secret. Whatever that could be. Oh my god. Luke Perry is Sub-Zero?
I hope it's just an episode of Quan Chi, like, writing in his diary about how a boy doesn't like him.
No, but Luke Perry is Sub-Zero.
I mean, Luke Perry definitely needed a paycheck by that point.
What is this cast? This is so insane.
Oh, God.
I'm fucking fascinated.
Excited, Syphil.
I'm excited, Syphil. All right. So, real quick, before we take our first break, I was talking about this with John, and it seemed like a pretty fun thing to do. So, as the week has gone by, the weeks have gone by since the Nintendo Direct, we have seen quite the interesting list of characters for Mario Kart World. And I thought it would be fun to go over what characters do you think what characters do you want to see in Mario Kart World? Have you seen the list of characters for Mario Kart World yet?
I have not. I will pull it up now so I don't think I have some profound shit to say and then be like, oh, he's totally fucking in it. Mario Kart.
The list of characters so far listed for Mario Kart World is completely insane. I mean, you've got your regulars, like, the ones that have been around, even some deeper cuts like Lakitu, and King Boo is there, Nabbit. Then we start getting to the weird stuff. Like, we know Cow. We've seen Cow.
Right. Love Cow.
But then we've now seen Coin Coffer, the little purse thing that runs around.
Yeah.
Pokey, the cactus, Penguin, like the penguin in Mario 64 you throw off a cliff. Cheep Cheep.
Yeah.
Just a fish driving a car, because why not?
Yeah, no, that's how that works.
Rocky Wrench, Charging Chuck, Spike, a Cataquack from Super Mario Sunshine, Monty Mole, a snowman.
Yep. Cool.
Yay.
Peepa.
I don't. What even is Peepa?
I don't know. Is that Luigi's Mansion?
I looked this one up when I was looking at this with John. Oh, right. Peepa is it's one of the ghosts that's not a Boo.
Okay.
Sidestepper.
Well,
the crab from the arcade Mario Brothers, Sidestepper.
Yeah.
Pianta, the pair of Buddy Bids, Fishbone. Gotta be my favorite. That's the dead fish.
That's pretty great. Big fan of
that. Dolphin.
Yeah. Boy.
Stingbee and Swoop. So they're doing the deep cuts here. They're doing the deep cuts. And I find that rather fascinating. I hope these are all playable characters. I hope they're not just like, NPC, in the other carts, because neither the characters get costumes for some reason. So I hope these are all playable in some way, shape, or form. But I guess with this list, it occurred to me that it would be kind of fun to try to figure out what deep cut characters do we want to see most in Mario Kart.
I want to see the fucking potion bottle from Mario 2.
The potion bottle.
Yeah, would that be any weirder than fucking Fishbone? I don't think it would be.
My first thought was Wart, but then even more than Wart, I think Mouser needs to be there.
Yeah, Wart, that actually that seems legit that they should be in there.
I think it's actually insulting that we've gotten Cataquack before we've gotten Wart.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, Nintendo. Really?
What's wrong with you guys?
No Triclide. No. Just come on. Come on.
Cataquack. There's not a lot of Super Mario Brothers 2 representation, right? There's Birdos in there.
There's Birdos. There's Shy Guy. I think it's just Birdo and Shy Guy.
Yeah. There's got to be some other Super Mario Brothers 2
and Pokey.
shit that could...
Birdo, Shy Guy,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Pokey.
But Pokey's new for this time, so there's got to be something else that could be in there, right?
Well, some from Mario 2. Let's see. Bezos, Sniffits. Sniffits have appeared in a lot of more modern stuff. None of the bosses. See, that's the thing. None of the bosses from Mario 2 have showed up anywhere with the exception of Birdo. So, like, we're talking Triclide would be awesome. Mouser, Claw Grip, Fry Guy. Oh, give me Fry Guy. I freaking love Fry Guy.
Ninja, Fanto.
Oh, Ninja. I think Ninja's actually in it. Fanto would be amazing. Fanto would be so awesome. Cool. I'm pretty sure. I guess Ninja's not here. I would be shocked if Ninja didn't show up because Ninja's showed up in a handful of things recently.
Yeah.
Like Ninja was in Mario Maker 2. Ninja was in Super Mario Wonder. Like, yeah, Ninja's gonna be here. I'd be shocked and appalled if Ninja didn't show up. So let's see what else we got.
Cobrat. Now I'm just looking at a fucking list.
Oh,
of shit.
Right. If I got to choose between Cobrat and Triclide, though, I'm going Triclide, 100%.
Now, Mouser, Triclide, Fanto wouldn't work. He doesn't have hand.
Neither does the fish. Okay.
neither does the fish. That's
neither
true.
Neither does the dead fish skeleton.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
How about some Super Mario Land? How about Tatanga?
Right?
I would very much like Tatanga. Not really, Tatanga would be top tier as far as Mario Land representation. Or I don't really know how you would do any of the other like enemy characters from that. They're barely even recognizable. Like the
right.
But Tatanga, yeah, that'd be pretty rad. This is some Mario RPG characters, maybe. Give me some Mallow in there. Gino for Smash.
There you go. Gino for Smash. I mean, it's looking at this fucking list of characters that they are adding. I mean, like, I get it. This cow, sure. All right. It's fucking adorable.
100%.
But like, but the snowman, that just feels lazy. The
snowman is hilarious to me. It also does
sure,
not have
but
arms.
But it's a snowman. Like, who fucking care? Over Mouser? You got a dolphin. What's he gripping the fucking shit with? This is weird. Or coin cough. Yeah, all of this is very questionable.
Yeah, coin coffer's
questionable.
Coin coffer's a call. That's an interesting call right there. That's a deep cut.
Somebody was like, I fucking dare you. And they were like, all right, bet.
Threaten me with a good time.
Oh, man. This game's going to be fucking awesome.
I'm so excited about Mario Kart. Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4, and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I am so over the moon about. I'm so fucking jazzed for those 3 games.
Yeah.
I just wish, the rest of the Switch 2 mindset right now wasn't this death by 1,000 cuts nonsense that they got going on.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we'll get to that in week old news. I'm sure there's a little something about it.
Just a little bit. Honestly, yeah. I didn't go overboard with it. But we will cover that in relative short order.
Yeah, man.
So,
I can't. That's an interesting. That is an interesting topic of who else would be in there, because you got to imagine that there's going to be DLC and shit.
I actually have thoughts on that. I mean, yes, I think there will be DLC, but I'm almost wondering if it's going to cost money. Part of me, I have this theory cooking right now, because like I was listening to a podcast about the whole situation, and they were talking about the pricing of Mario Kart, and I thought to myself, like, now wait a second, because they were like complaining about the price of how much would it cost if you wanted to get Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild up and running on, like, you haven't played it before, you want to play it for the first time on Switch 2, you've got to buy this $70 game plus the DLC for it if you want the full experience. And I'm like, now wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
What is the... So the game was $60 and the add-on pack was $10.
Mm-hmm.
and then we're adding the DLC to it. Like, now wait a second. What was the cost of Mario Kart 8 and then the booster course? So I matched that math, and the cost of just Mario Kart 8 and the booster course currently, right now, on Nintendo's website, the two of them combined, is $85. So I'm wondering, is this Nintendo's way of looking at it? And is this because Nintendo seems pretty surprised by the response. Like, they knew it was going to be a tough pill to swallow, but they did seem generally taken aback by this. So I have to wonder, is their whole thing like, no, we're not going to charge you for the DLC. This is the price of the game, and we're just going to give you all of the stuff that we make for this, going forward.
I feel like I see what you're going for. And I feel like if that were the case, when, what was it? Bowser was talking, Doug Bowser, and he was talking about the price of the games and saying, this is the amount of work that has gone into this. This is what we feel it is worth. Oh, and by the way, there's going to be all this additional content that you're not going to have to... Like, I feel like that would have... Like, he would have brought that up. No,
definitely not. Because that's... They're very specifically not saying anything else about the game. Like, the line from Bill Trinan is, watch the Direct, right? There's a Mario Kart Direct next week. So... and that's part of the whole, like, disassociation with reality. Like... They're not looking at this from the perspective of the people they're selling the games to. They're just not in the same world as we are right now. So, like, he wasn't going to make any announcements about the game's content. They're just like, no, this is what it costs. Like,
it just seems like a weird thing to... but given that the interview came out after the shit show that was the comment section on the Treehouse Lives, you would think, like,
but
somebody in the PR department...
It wasn't conducted before that. The interview came out after that, but the interview was conducted before Treehouse Live and embargoed until Monday for some reason. All the interviews, the Bowsers, the Trinans, all the interviews, they were all conducted like the day of the Direct. And then the Treehouse Lives happened, and they embargoed them until fucking Monday. Why?
Okay. That makes... less sense,
right? It makes
less sense to me now.
What is
none of this? Anyway, I would like to think
it's a new
that
theory,
you're
that's
correct.
I would like to think that you're correct. Sense, and like it tracks in this way of like this way they don't have to take the risk of selling DLC. They're just saying we're going to give you. They can come out with just be upfront and say this is the price of all the content we're going to make for this game. End of story. So we're factoring that into it. You're not going to have to pay for the DLC, but also that means that every single person, because like every single person who bought Mario Kart didn't also buy the DLC. It was probably a pretty high percentage, but you then have to sell that DLC. You have to upsell that DLC.
Fucking 10 years.
It wouldn't shock me to have Nintendo look at that situation and be like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Why don't we just charge the whole thing instead of taking the gamble of asking people for more money for DLC? Let's just say this is the price and we're going to give you all the DLC anyway. Let's just take that option off the table. That way we get all the money from everybody. But at the same token, it's also more upfront. Like, it's one of those, like, it works for them, but it also kind of works for me kind of the thing, instead of thinking like, will it get DLC? I don't know. Or how much is that DLC going to cost? Instead of it's really a more traditional approach and being like, well, this is what this game costs up front and go. Like, that's it. This is the one-time fee for this game, instead of adding on and adding on and adding on. So maybe I'm probably wrong. I've been wrong about it almost everything else so far, but it was an interesting thought exercise. Like, how much does this stuff all add up to if you take the individual components and piece them together? And it doesn't seem too far off. So I have to imagine somebody at Nintendo was like, well, Mario Kart 8 plus the booster course is $85. So if we charge $80 for this, we're coming in $5 cheaper than the previous game.
People will thank us.
That's probably the conversation that they had, because they're insane. But we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that in a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to cover week-old news, talk about what's going on at Stone Age Gamer. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new from us and our partners at Geekade.com.
The Human Torch. First up, Benjamin Ulysses Folds, also known as Ben Folds, is a penis. Penist. And yes, I'm 100% sure that's his real name. And no, I won't be looking it up for a fact check. Anyway, Mr. Folds and his friends formed a band called the Ben Folds 5, which was funny because there was only 3 of them. And Matt, from the Turning Tracks podcast, had never heard any of their music outside of the late 90s radio hit Brick. Kris has decided that this is something that needs to be remedied, and has chosen the band as his topic for their next episode. What did Matt think? Find out in Turning Tracks episode 30, Ben Folds 5. Love Ben Folds 5.
As do I.
I saw them open for Billy Joel. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird opener for Billy Joel, but whatever. It worked.
I mean, isn't one of Billy Joel's most famous songs Piano Man?
Yes, it is. But like Ben Folds, I don't know, you maybe a little bit bigger. I think like they do more like local opening acts, and they were in Philly, and Ben Folds is from Philly, I believe. So, anyway, next, there are a whole lot of indie games in the world these days, but that wasn't always the case. Sure, homebrews existed, but it wasn't until a few truly greats that the scene really took off with mainstream success. And one of the biggest success stories out there was a little game called Undertale. With its endearing characters and odd visual style, the game caught on in a big way. And another part of its appeal is its unforgettable music, which is why I picked it for this month's episode of Waveback. So if you want to know why I love this music so much, tune into Waveback episode 148, Undertale. It's really good fucking music.
It is.
Finally, Kris, though, let's talk about views. There's the rear view, which is what you see when you look through your rear view mirror. It's not what I call it, but that's okay. There's a bird's eye view, which is another way of saying an overhead view. There's a View Master, which is a fun 80s toy that made things look super cool while making you look like a super dork. But what about Dragon View? What does that mean? What does it do? And what does it have to do with the obscure Super Nintendo game Dragon? Find out as Greg and Joe dive deep into the world of bizarre action RPG sequels in the SNES podcast episode 255, Dragon View.
For all this and more for us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com. All right, everybody. I'm going to say we're back. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. I was fucking surprised by that. I thought we were still dicking around.
I mean, look, not for nothing. You could stop this podcast. You have the power. You could stop the podcast whenever you want. You could hit pause. You could delete us from your phone or whatever device you're listening to. But I say we're back, and that's where we are. So let's talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer.
What? I'm ready.
That was it.
Nothing.
Now, it's been a pretty busy week. We just finished our spring sale, which we didn't really have completely finalized for last week's show, and then it ran for a week, and now it's over by the time you're listening to this podcast. So, yeah, the spring sale happened. That was pretty much our week. And
outstanding advertising we've done right there.
Yeah,
just killing it.
Andy and some of the staff were at Pin Brew, which is a pinball and beer convention out in Ohio. So they've been there for the last day or two. So if there's been been a little light on the customer service this week because a lot of our staff has been out at the con, but other than that, that's been pretty much what's new at Stone Age Gamer. So no big new products to talk about. At least nothing that's jumping to mind.
Not a ton.
So that means That means it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. Hi there. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. And just to kind of, as a general wrap-up, I couldn't keep track of all of the Nintendo news that happened this week. So I just wrote down...
so much.
And I quote, Nintendo continued to trip over their own dicks all week long.
Yeah, that is... Fuck, that's accurate, man. God damn it.
So apparently
It's so
everybody
annoying.
who went hands-on with this system were like, yeah, this is worth the price of admission. It's the price of the games that are a little bit difficult to swallow. And, I had my thoughts on the math on that we just talked about. But it's just like, there's so many questionable choices being made, and you have to wonder what was going on in the boardrooms. How were these decisions made? And the only thing that makes sense is that they were made by people that are just simply out of touch. Like, they just have no concept. Like, obviously, the corporate class at Nintendo are not like the billionaire corporate class.
No,
but they're still
sure.
the fucking corporate class. They're still rich. So they probably look at this like, this just is what it is. It's no big deal. And I don't know that they have anybody currently at Nintendo who is that voice for the average consumer. Like, I just think they're completely out of touch and not looking at this from their perspective. They're just looking at this on how to maximize profits. And they had so much goodwill through the Switch generation, and they burnt it all. Over the last week and a half, they have burnt every ounce, every shred of goodwill they had. Like, obviously, there's always this group of people on the internet that they've just got they're sharpening their pitchforks at every single possible moment to scream about how anti-consumer they are because they don't like people emulating their games. Like, yes, they are overprotective of their IP.
Yes.
That we've had that discussion. I do think occasionally they cross the line, but all in all, I don't disagree with their position, generally speaking. I think they've shown that their overprotective nature of their IP and the way they don't devalue their products is something that works for them. They have and this is not me exaggerating. I believe they have something in the neighborhood of $16 billion in cash in the bank. That's not like, the theoretical wealth that you hear talking about. They have that money on hand, ready to go.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
They
not
are
bad.
an extraordinarily rich company, which makes me look at this situation we're in right now, and they have an opportunity to do something good here. They have an opportunity to course correct that will cost them some of that money now, but make them way more money in the future. Because what do you want when you launch a new system? You want to get as many of the systems out there as you can so that you can make the money on the games. That's the point, right? That's why so many other companies have no problem taking a hit on the razors so they could sell the blades. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's worked so well for so long. Now, Nintendo traditionally doesn't take a loss on their hardware, but look at the world right now. Look at the people that you're trying to sell this to, specifically here in the United States, their biggest market. All they would have to do right now is say, we're going to cap our game prices at $70, right? That's already more expensive than their previous generation, with the exception of Tears of the Kingdom. So they're already a leg up on their previous generation, and say, we're going to knock $50 off the price of all of our systems, including the regular Switch. Because one of the things that's been, I think, being criticized a little too harshly was Doug Bowser said in one of his interviews that, we understand that there are going to be some people who can't afford the Switch too. That's why we're keeping the regular Switch around. And people are basically looking at it the same way as the Xbox thing, where they're just like, oh, you don't have access to the internet? Play Xbox 360 games. Like, similar statements, but
I didn't think what Doug Bowser said was all that crazy. my take on it was like, it's not the worst statement in the world, but like, read the fucking room right now, man. Like, read the room.
Yeah. You know what you didn't do? You didn't drop the price of the original Switch. See, now, if they were doing what my original plan was, to make the Switch the discount system, to look at to say, okay, we understand this new system is going to be very expensive because it's got expensive tech in it. Anybody who has done the teardown of this system, not an actual teardown, but a real look at what's been announced to be in this system, understands this is a reasonable price for the technology that's in this platform. But the original Switch, you've got to be making a handy profit on those things by this point. It's time to drop the price on that.
Yeah.
You drop the price on that, you're going to sell a lot more consoles. And the more consoles you sell, the more games you can sell with those. Like, that's just the way the maths. Now is the time to do that sort of thing. Now, they took this step back and said, "Oh, we're looking at the situation with the tariffs and other economic factors," or whatever the wording was. But it wasn't just the tariffs, which means that they are keenly aware that everybody's complaining about drop of the price. They have the money in the bank to easily afford dropping the price, even a little bit, even like just $50. Make it $400 and $450. Make the system $399 instead of $449, and then drop the price of the original Switch to make that your discount system, and cap the max price for your new games. You can still do this adaptive pricing thing if you want to, but put a cap on it. Do it that way.
Yeah.
You do that, you have just bought a fuckload of goodwill. Or you could even take it a step back and say not change the price on anything. Maybe drop the price of the original Switch. Because you can afford to do that and still make a profit. I am sure of that. There's no question in my mind. At this point, they could be charging less for the original Switch. Do that to get them into the ecosystem, right? That's what Bowser was talking about. People can still jump in on this and still learn these characters and get involved in the ecosystem, and then eventually upgrade to the Switch too. But also say, look, the price of everything has gone up. The tariffs are, who the hell knows what's going to happen with them, but everything is more expensive, but we're not going to raise the price. We're going to eat this is going to cost us more, but we're going to eat that price. That's going to come right out of, nothing's going to change on your end. The system's still $449. We're not raising the price. Even that would buy some goodwill.
It would.
But you got to do something about the game's price. You've got to do something about that, because that's their biggest problem right now, is the game's price.
And my thought on that, 'cause I thought about it this week. The interesting thing about that, right, with the adaptive pricing, as they talked about, it's an interesting thing, right? Because on one hand, it makes it seem like this new Donkey Kong game is not as good as Mario Kart because it's cheaper, right? And there's a way for people to potentially look at that and be like, well, this one's not as good because it's not as much. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of that is like, obviously that's not for people like us. That's not for gamers per se, but for like the general public, there is the chance of running into that perception. As far as lowering the price of the games, though, I don't see how they can spin, right? Because what they've done with the adaptive pricing thing and setting kind of the baseline with Bonanza being $70, I don't see how they can lower that anymore and still sell Switch 1 games at $60. Like, I think 70 is as low as you can go for a Switch 2 game.
I think, I mean, I think it depends on the game too. But yeah, I think generally speaking, how many big Switch games are really going to be left, right? I don't think Tamagotchi Life and Rhythm Heaven are the kinds of games that, I mean, sure, Nintendo could charge $60 for those, but they could also very well charge $50 for those. And
they probably shouldn't charge $60 for those.
Right. They probably should.
Certainly not for like Rhythm Heaven.
I don't think if they do that, they're really going to bat an eye. So I don't think that's really a problem. But yeah, the Switch 1 games should be cheaper than the Switch 2 games, and I think that's fine. I think you make sure that everything is... Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is just going to be a different animal forever. That game is just going to be $70 no matter how you slice it on Switch. But maybe they could do something. It's not too late to course correct. It really isn't. But I agree.
It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting corner they've kind of painted themselves into, of like coming out and being very, very firm on the, this is the work, this is what it's worth. Because that does send somewhat of a message that not as much work went into Donkey Kong because it's not as much money.
Well, their thing is it's not necessarily the work, it's the value. It's like Mario Kart is a game you're going to be playing multiplayer and online for years and years and years. Donkey Kong is a single player campaign that you're going to beat. Like, I think that's what they're trying to get across.
And see, phrasing it that way feels fucking greedy. Like, to me, hearing it phrased that way comes across as greed. I can only sell you this once, so I'm going to charge you more because you're going to have it for years. You're not going to buy more of them. Fuck you, give me more money. Like, that's how that feels. Which is also what it is. And again, like... all of this is fine. Games being more expensive, like everything's fucking more. Of course it's more expensive. All of that is fine. We just happen to be in a situation right now where who the fuck knows what is going on? Shit, especially, and like we have a tendency as Americans to think America is the world. And while America is certainly not the world, it does have an impact, right? Like, it's undeniable that the United States economy has an impact on the rest of the world. And shit is really fucking bad here right now. Like, and I know I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't know, but with shit being as bad as it is, and as crazy as it is, already, we are fucking 3 months in. 3 months in.
4-year extravaganza
to a 4-year
of who the fuck knows.
Of who the fuck knows. Right? And we are seeing things that are just unfucking precedented. And I miss precedented times. I really do. I really fucking miss precedented times. But not to go too far off on a tangent, but like... The reason why this is so up in the air and so crazy is because we are currently in a climate where all of this is personal for our current administration. And that is what makes it so dangerous. Here in New Jersey, we have for those of you who have never heard of Lucy the Elephant is a beloved, iconic New Jersey tourist attraction. It is this, 150-year-old at this point? It's a really old fucking elephant that is down the shore, and you can walk up inside of it. It's just this weird fucking crazy building that was a tourist attraction. It's super duper old, but it's awesome. Lucy the Elephant fucking rules. It's just this really cool thing that is iconic. It is one of a kind. It is solo to New Jersey. And New Jersey was given from the federal government $500,000 to perform maintenance and upkeep on Lucy the Elephant, because
including a new fire suppression system, which is pretty important for a giant wooden elephant.
A giant 150-year-old wooden elephant. And just today, that money was taken away by the Department of Government Efficiency, not because it is a waste of money, But because Cory Booker filibustered, and because Cory Booker is our senator from New Jersey, that money was personally taken away. And of course, that's not what it was said to be, but you can't fucking convince me that's not why it was done. This shit...
It's 100% why it was done.
...is
He
personal.
spoke out against the king.
Yeah, this shit is personal. So all of that example is to say we just have so little clue as to what thing is going to set this current administration off and what that is going to do to prices, not just here in America, but around the world. So it's a weird strategy that Nintendo is taking, launching at this particular time with this particular messaging and not coming out and being like, just wait for the direct. Like, that's not the world we live in right now.
No, you can't just be like, no, all right, wait till what happens next. And like, that's,
give it a minute. No, we don't
piece
have
of it.
a
Is this is the Mario Kart is the second, like, people have been asking them justify Mario Kart's price because that's insane. And they're like, wait till the direct. That's the official line. Wait till the direct. We'll prove it to you then. Well, this is the second one of those, because the first one was everyone saying, what the fuck is wrong with you charging $10 for this virtual tour game? And the answer was, well, we're going to show it off in Treehouse Live, and yeah, just wait till Treehouse Live. Well, that'll justify the price for you. Well, we did.
No, it didn't. I guarantee.
We watched it. It was exactly what it looks like. It is exactly what it looks like. Nothing they showed there was like, oh yeah, that justifies this costing money. Absolutely. No. that was a big fat failure. So I don't have a whole lot of faith that when this Mario Kart Direct comes out, I'm going to see something that really just like blows my mind to the extent of saying like, well, yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, that's definitely worth it. Partially because it's already worth $80 to me. I know I'm going to get $80 worth of play out of Mario Kart. That's not even a question to me. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but like I'm also not super mad at it personally, because like I think of the amount of I've spent more than $80 on Mario Kart 8 at this point. I got my $60 worth of it out of the Wii U version, and then I got another $85 worth of fun and entertainment out of that game on the Switch. I have not regretted either of those purchases because I have definitely gotten that much entertainment out of that game.
Yeah,
so I have no question, at all.
That's not the issue though. The issue is that I'm sitting here and I went to get milk last night and it was $5 1/4.
Yeah, that's
for
the
a gallon
problem.
of milk. Like, fuck, dude.
Dude, they're not looking at what their customer base is capable of. They're limiting what this customer base is capable of. Now, if they take the hit and if they lower the prices, they will sell more of them. And they're not going to make as much profit on each item, but they're going to make that up in quantity, and they're going to make it up in goodwill. They're going to make it up in quantity and goodwill, and those are the two things that Nintendo has always prioritized. Like, they have historically been successful every time they've done that. You know, the Wii sold a bajillion units because it was cheap. Like, if the Wii was as expensive as the Xbox 360 at the time, it wasn't going to move as many units. Because as amazing as Wii Sports was, there was always going to be a percentage of that audience that looked at it and said, I'll play it at my friend's house. Like, but then
I'm not going to drop
enough.
$400 on that. But at $200 or $250, whatever it was.
Exactly. And that was the sweet spot the Switch hit. The Switch launched at that $300 price point, and that was the exact cap of what people were able to pay at the time for it to still be something they could justify buying for their kids. $450 for something their kids are going to beat up? No.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of people, that's just not going to happen until they release a Switch 2 Lite model or something. They're going to have to do something to meet people halfway, because even if you convince everybody that this platform is worth this amount of money, like, you can make that value proposition all day long, but if people don't have $500 to spend in the first place, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Like, especially again, when you're jumping into this space to directly compete. At that price point, you were directly competing with PS5 and the series. Like, and I've already got those. And no, I can't play Bonanza on it. I can't. And that makes me sad. But you know what I can play on it? Literally almost anything else that I want. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like fuck, I can't play Bonanza. I'm not going to be able to play any other games ever. Shit. You know, so if I'm already like for me, like looking at it just kind of personally, of like in the house currently, we have a PlayStation 5, 2 PS4s. We have a 4 and a Pro. Then we also have our computers. I have my Steam Deck. We have an OG Switch, and we have a Switch Lite. $500 is a lot to ask right now.
It is.
When I've got all this other stuff. Like, again, I can't play Mario Kart. And that is going to suck if I can't play Mario Kart anytime soon. But Disney Speedstorm is really fucking fun. Like, honestly, we play that game a lot. We're going to play Mario Kart 8 still. Because it's still really
Marvel
good.
Invasion. Marvel Invasion's coming out everywhere else.
I'm going to play Marvel Invasion. And you know what I'm not going to play on my Switch too? Metal Gear Solid Delta. Because it's not going to be as good on the Switch 2 as it is on the PS5. Like, it's just not. I'm not going to play Ghost of Yotai on the fucking Switch 2. Like, and that's a personal thing for me, right? But like, when I'm looking at my value proposition, I really want to play Bonanza. I really do. But like, that's $520 that you're asking me to spend to play Bonanza when I already have all of this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm kind of upset that Bonanza is not coming out on the Switch. You know, I understand why it's not.
Yeah,
because
it wouldn't work.
And you also, like, even if it did, right? Like let's just say even if it did. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out on the Switch, but even if it did, you're obviously like, you're going to run into that Sony and Microsoft problem where why am I buying the PlayStation 5 if I can just get all the shit on the 4?
Yeah, that is something that they are doing right here. Is they're already hitting us with they're already like, here's the software. Like, we've got the games. This is not one of those like, well, if you just stick with the regular Switch, you're going to be just fine situations. Like, we've got the software, so we have already made it obvious that yes, if you still have a Switch 1, there are still going to be games that you can play. But on the same token, there are games that are coming to this new platform that you're going to want to play more, and we've made that value proposition, and good on them for that.
Yeah, no, and that I think was absolutely the right decision, because you're trying to fucking sell your system. But again, when you're in that competitive space with everybody else, I mean, that's just that is a big ask for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I imagine there are a lot of people that have a Switch end, whether that's an Xbox or a PlayStation, mm-hmm. right? I imagine that is way more common than it isn't. It's just a big ask with the way the world is right now. I agree. I think the system is worth it. I think the game price, especially even for, like you said, for Mario Kart 8, I do think that it is worth the $80. That is not a question. It's just all the rest of it, unfortunately.
That said, I don't think there's anything else in particular. Like, we did find out for sure that at least with Nintendo's games, the Switch 1 upgrades are all on the cart. Like, that's not a question anymore. We've solved that particular problem. I do think it is odd that they're not. Now, granted, there's still time. There is definitely still time to do this. But I do think it's a little odd that they aren't highlighting Prime 4 more than they are. Like, the trailer they showed during the Direct was not super impressive. the Treehouse Live.
The Treehouse was. Yeah.
That was very impressive. And there were multiple outlets reporting from the show floor that they got to trial this shit on. Like, that was the best looking game there. That game was impressive looking. It was running at 120 frames per second. Like, it's the technical showpiece that we kind of hoped it would be. It just also so happens to be a Switch game. Like, I don't understand why they're not hitting this one as hard. Like, it's now granted they don't have a release date for it, so maybe it's later in the year than we think.
I think that's why. Yeah, I think this is a holiday release, and we're going to hype up World, and then a month later, Bonanza. And then we'll start hyping, ZA and Metroid Prime 4 and whatever else. I think Kirby will be out by then, right? They said Kirby with the new stuff was 2025.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's this year. But again, that's like, it's DLC for a game that's a couple of years old. Like, we don't know. There's still so many questions about what else is happening on this platform this year. Like, which is honestly kind of exciting when you think about it. Like, there's probably going to be a June Direct. Like, the system's going to come out, and then probably in like 2 weeks, there's going to be, all right, here's what you're going to play in July, August, and September, and then we'll get a September Direct for the rest of the year. Like, that's very plausible. Like, there's probably a whole lot that we don't know about, and there's so much time to course correct. It's just that right now out the gate,
it just doesn't feel good. I think for a lot of people.
It doesn't, because there's a lot of sticker shock. There's a lack of
there's a lack of empathy. There's a lack of
empathy. There's a lack of communication, and I'm very curious what they're going to do when they come back from this little break period that they're in, right? Because they put pre-orders on hold, and they took a step back and was like, obviously to examine because of the tariffs, but they didn't. They said specifically it wasn't just the tariffs that they're thinking about. So, what are they going to come back with? Is my big question. What are they going to? They have an opportunity to kind of sort of do a little soft reboot here. Like, we know the games that they've shown off looked really cool. They spent too much time on known quantities. Like, I know I talked about how a lot of those games weren't out yet, but also they were games that everyone knows about. There weren't a lot of actual new games. Even the ones that, haven't come out yet on other platforms that are going to be new with Switch 2 in parity with the other platforms, they still weren't new, exciting new properties.
We didn't know
we still
Bonanza.
knew they existed. Exactly. We didn't know Mario Kart World. We didn't know Bonanza. We knew Prime 4, but we still didn't know much about it. Right. We didn't know Switch Tour. We didn't know Dragon Drive. Man, that game was dreadful.
One last question before we move on, and I just think it's an interesting question because there are rumors right now that next year there is most likely going to be a work stoppage in Major League Baseball.
Really?
Because the owners are not rich enough, and the players are not rich enough, and if it is my belief that if there is any sort of significant work stoppage in Major League Baseball, that it will effectively kill the sport in the United States. It's already struggling mightily, and not even in comparison to football, because everything in comparison to football is like, what the fuck are we even doing here? But there's a lot of craziness around baseball, and the owners are going to push for a salary cap. And there probably should be a salary cap in baseball. There should also be a floor, and that's a podcast for a different podcast. But the point of it is, if there is a work stoppage in baseball, I think it is going to do irreparable damage to Major League Baseball. If Nintendo comes back and they're like, look, guys, it is what it is. We have to raise the price of the Switch 2 system. What kind of damage do you think that would do? Like, is that enough?
That's the worst damage that they will have ever done to themselves. They come back with a more expensive price tag on the Switch 2. That's going to be more damaging to them than Wii U or Virtual Boy.
Does that push them? Is that the kind of thing that pushes them out of the hardware market?
Oh, I don't think so. They have $16 billion fucking dollars. Like,
sure. I've seen a couple, like, just people asking that question, and I just thought it was an interesting question.
No, I don't think it's enough.
How much? Because obviously it's damaging, but just how bad would that be?
It would be very bad because it would damage their brand. It would damage their reputation further than they already have. And, positioning themselves as a video game company that's only for rich people, it's just not a good look, and it goes against their general philosophy, and it's gonna just drive people away from the hobby, and Nintendo in general. So I would say if that is the case, they'll probably stick it out at the price as long as they can, and then maybe drop the price in a couple of years if they absolutely have to, and just eat the small sales, but then also keep the Switch 2 alive longer. We kept the Switch alive for 8 years so far and counting, and they'll continue to keep the Switch alive and maybe drop the price on that to try to attract more people to that thing, and then keep hanging on to Switch 2s until that price becomes affordable, or they can afford to lower the price. Like, just keep the course. Like, the hardware's not since the hardware isn't a problem. Like, it's such a different situation from the Wii U, because the Wii U was so inherently flawed from a hardware perspective. You couldn't make the games on that system that could compete with the other platforms. You just couldn't.
Right.
And it was weird. It was difficult to use. It was expensive to produce. There were so many problems with the Wii U. The Switch 2 doesn't have that problem, because the Switch 2 is inherently a really well-designed device, it seems. And there's going to be an appeal for this device 5 years from now, if we're even still alive 5 years from now. So
if we're not using staples as fucking money.
Yeah.
In the future.
So I say that it would be hugely damaging to them, and I think it would be an extraordinarily humbling experience. I think it would be I think they would be looking at this, looking back at all of their decisions and being like, wow, we really should have done something different here. And they would learn a lesson for sure, but how long would they learn that lesson? Because they've learned this lesson before. Like, I understand, like, the whole thing with the tariffs. They've learned this exact lesson before. The 3DS. Nobody had a problem with the 3DS hardware. Nobody looked at that thing and said, wow, that's a really dumb piece of hardware. It was just... Yeah. It was more money than the market could bear. And they launched it, and they looked at that, and they got their asses beat, and they said, we need to step back and fix this. Like, we thought that we were the hottest of shit, and we would just drop out with a remake of Ocarina of Time, and that would be enough for everybody. No problem. And it wasn't. They didn't have Mario. They didn't have Mario Kart. They just didn't. Nintendogs plus Cats wasn't moving the thing the way that they expected it to. They let their hubris get in the way, and they didn't take into account the world that they were selling the system to. They've learned this lesson in the past. They learned the lesson with the Wii U. That thing was in price way too similar to way more powerful hardware. And again, that was a system that you looked at and said, well, of course they can't lower the price. That thing's really expensive to make. It's got a whole fucking TV screen built into the controller. Like, it's just... The math, you can't remath that anywhere. You just can't drop the price on it and turn a profit. It was a stupid idea. They shouldn't have put that one together. But, they took a big gamble, because if it did pay off, then that wouldn't have mattered. If it did catch on and they were able to resonate with everyone with that new play control that the Wii U afforded, and it did revolutionize things the way the DS did and the way they hoped it would, then that big price tag wouldn't have made a difference. But
you would have had to have had it.
Exactly.
But you didn't have to have it. Yeah.
Exactly. You didn't have to have it.
Well, and it's such an interesting world that we live in, and we can stop talking about this after, because we could just go on this for another 5 hours, I feel.
we could. But I'm having fun.
What's so interesting about it, too, is that Nintendo is now the only one of the big threes that's not playing nicely with everybody else. Microsoft games are on both platforms. PlayStation games are on other platforms.
Are on Nintendo's platform. Patapon's coming to Switch, baby.
Yeah, and the show and Lego Horizon and there will probably be more in the future. And Nintendo's like, no, this is ours. So you guys are starting to look like the dicks here. That's a weird place for Nintendo to be.
Yeah, except they've always been the dicks in that department.
I know, but Sony and Microsoft have also been the dicks. You know?
Microsoft maybe. They haven't been those dicks in a long time. They're dicks for other reasons, but they've been like, fuck it, we'll make money wherever we can. PlayStation dropping their properties around surprises me because they don't strike me as the company that needs to do that. I don't see what they have to gain through this aside from a little bit of money. Is Patapon really going to sell a bajillion copies on Switch? It's probably going to sell better there than it does on their own.
I was going to say, I feel like it'll do pretty well.
Yeah, it'll do pretty well. But, is it going to do so well that it's like, well, for sure, this is definitely worth putting our brand on a competing hardware. It's an odd move, but Nintendo's they're too
I think
proud.
What's interesting about it is that you're looking at these these are games like the Hot Shots thing or the Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, and the Patapon thing is we were already making these. And they would probably sell over here too. And maybe that is them looking, and what the fuck do we know? I'm just speculating, right? But maybe that is them looking at the world currently and being like, let's sell these over here too. Why not? And if they do well, maybe that opens the door for other things where Sony is looking at their AA shit. Obviously Ghost of Yotai is not coming to Switch 2. I think that would be very, very surprising if everybody was like, yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the Switch 2 version because I feel like that's a better place. That seems like a weird thing, but there's so many PlayStation IP that if they were working on these Astrobot level experiences, that would work everywhere else too, and specifically on Nintendo. Parappa the Rapper would work really well on Nintendo. So if they remastered that and Oom Jammer Lammy and threw them together, I could see them being like, yeah, fuck it, put it on the Switch too. That, it just kind of makes a little bit of sense. Mm-hmm. Whereas Nintendo's like, no, it's mine. Fuck you. And they've they're there now. Where, it's weird.
There are games that just feel wrong to play on other platforms, and it's hard to quantify, but when a new Mega Man game comes out, it's like, I gotta play that on the Nintendo. Mega Man, it's a Nintendo thing.
That's where I want to play it. Yeah.
And you will play it somewhere else. It's fine, but what is it? I was just playing what the hell was I just doing? Oh, I booted up the Switch Online because they got the new Genesis games on there. And Karen was sitting next to me and was like, that is never going to not be weird to me to hear Sega coming out of a Nintendo system.
It's weird.
Wrong. It's weird.
It's a weird thing.
Nintendo is the biggest one of those. They've got the biggest amount of no, this is our thing. It's just Microsoft bought Rare, but Nintendo still owns that company. They just do. Banjo-Kazooie is never going to not be a Nintendo thing. That's where that property belongs. It's just ingrained in its DNA. And that's not one of those things that you can really fight your way out of. Yeah, I just don't see Nintendo ever making that call.
I just wish they would put their shit on computer. I wish that Nintendo would jump into the PC market. You don't have to go full Xbox or whatever.
They might.
Sony.
Because they did a long time ago. They had their properties show up on PCs a long time ago. The Mario teaches typing, etc., etc. But they had their properties allowed on the PC market, and they eventually they got burned by that. So that's why you don't see that anymore. But they had the same situation with movies, right? They got so completely burned by this Super Mario Brothers movie that it took decades for them to finally give it another shot. So maybe at some point we will see their stuff show up on PCs again. They have their properties on mobile phones. So that's not too far removed from the PC market, all things considered. So
it's really not.
We might see that. We might see that again someday. But Nintendo games on PlayStation, I don't know.
Probably not. I don't know. I would like to play Bonanza on my Steam Deck.
I'm sure you would.
And fuck you, Nintendo. I just might.
Get out the eye patch and the peg legs.
Hey man, I don't want to. I don't. I really don't. Yeah. Anyway, very, very weird, interesting space that we currently exist in.
Indeed.
Just interesting. Did anything else happen in the world today?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked. Time Extension reports, no, you're not dreaming. Farming Simulator is getting an official Sega Genesis port.
I have nothing to say about. God damn you, farming people! Who the fuck
Farming Simulator
is buying all of these farming games?
This isn't.
How do you have
one
time?
Of those this isn't one of those weeaboo shit ones. This is Farming Simulator.
No, I know.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Last month, Giant Software, the developer behind the hugely successful Farming Simulator series, announced via a trailer on its YouTube channel that it would be releasing Farming Simulator 16-bit, a new retro demake of the classic sim for Sega Genesis. And it's now available to pre-order from Strictly Limited Games. It's a physical cartridge. The 16-bit version of the game is said to feature new handmade pixel art graphics, digitized sounds, and music from Turrican composer Christopher Hulsbeck. What?
Who is this for?
Why is this happening? And I'm so happy about it.
Who the fuck is playing all of these farming games?
I don't know, man.
Because, Animal Crossing, I get, and not that that's a farming game. Please don't come with me with your pitchforks. I get it, but and the cozy game thing, I understand all of that, but there are so many farming games.
It's an industry, man. I can't believe it's coming to Genesis. What a specific thing.
Holy shit! There's so many.
Why not Super Nintendo, huh?
Right? Come on. Where's the Super Nintendo? Where's the fucking 2600 demake?
Where's Super Farming Simulator, huh? That's what I want to know.
That's all I want.
Why'd you pick Genesis, huh? Huh?
That's all I want. You pricks.
GameSpot reports, a Minecraft movie director responds to cops being called to showings of the movie.
Yeah, so that's happening.
Apparently, the chicken jockey is a thing.
Apparently,
kids just
I don't
yelling.
know. What does this mean?
What, chicken
jockey? Yeah, what is the
it's
chicken
an enemy
jockey?
in the game. It's an enemy that's in the game, and it also appears in the movie. But for some reason, in one of the trailers for the movie, when Jack Black says chicken jockey, when the chicken jockey shows up as he's explaining what this thing is to the other people in the movie, for some reason him saying chicken jockey just caught on with the youths, and now they just yell chicken jockey, and they're going to the theater and seeing the movie, and when he says chicken jockey, just losing their shit.
Cool.
And you know what? Fine. Okay. You know what? They're buying movie tickets. They're going to are you really going? I mean, who's going to see the Minecraft movie at this point now besides idiots, right? They're just
if you were going to see the Minecraft movie, you've seen it by now.
Yeah, you've probably seen it in the first 2 weeks since it came out, and otherwise you're going to wait for the digital version in 2 weeks. And if you're going to the movie to see it again, you've seen it before, and you're one of these fans. I don't know. You shouldn't be. On one hand, I am not a fan of being super disruptive in movies, but on the other hand,
no, that's a shitty thing to do.
Do we really need to call the cops on kids yelling about chicken jockey? Let the kids have their thing. The movie was fun. I don't know if I don't remember if I mentioned it on the show, but one of the things that made me super happy about this movie as a little side point was the use of music from the game.
I don't think you mentioned that. Yeah.
Minecraft has... I don't get Minecraft. I never have and I never will. But Minecraft does have... this, and it's like menus. It has just some extraordinarily beautiful, serene music. And like, when they first show up in the Minecraft world, it's playing that music. And it was wonderful. Again, like, this movie's so stupid. It's not a good movie, but it was made by the people who made the damn game with so much love. It doesn't really matter.
It's what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
it's exactly.
It's exactly what it's supposed to be, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the best movie ever made.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be high art. It just needed to be a Minecraft movie, and that's what it is. And Jack Black says chicken jockey, and apparently that's a big deal. I don't know. The director went on to say, quote, it's just literally cheering and throwing popcorn. So he found it funny that the cops were called. Yeah, it's hilarious. And I've seen so many funny videos. It's great, especially when people are climbing on their friends' shoulders and standing up and cheering for these moments. Like, that's funny because the chicken jockey is a baby zombie on top of a chicken. So, like, kids are jumping on top of each other and being chicken jockeys. Like, it's fucking stupid. But, like, you know what?
That's real dumm. I mean,
it's
also,
really
don't make a mess of the theater. Like, don't be a dick. That's somebody's job to fucking come clean up after you. Don't be an asshole.
But also, isn't it just kind of neat to see, like, kids going out and doing something? Like, I don't know. It just kind of brings me a little bit of joy. They shouldn't be disrespectful. I understand to an extent. It's just a weird thing. The whole thing's weird. Why that? Why did Jack Black saying chicken jockey turn into a thing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand kids. I didn't understand kids when I was one.
Yeah, right. This doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever.
I've never been cool, and this is why.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
Moving on, Go Nintendo reports Limited Run Games reveals new Doom and Doom 2 physical releases.
If any of you motherfuckers spend $666 on this shit, we're getting divorced.
I will never.
Come on.
It's limited to 666 copies.
Sure. Yep, nope, all of that. If any of you motherfuckers spend that much money on this fucking shit, not that... God damn it.
The Will It Run edition. The box is playable. You can play Doom in the box for the game.
Son of a bitch.
It also comes with a handheld cacodemon that plays Doom.
I mean, I love everything about it.
Cacodemon card.
A
Cacodemon rookie card autographed by the Cacodemon. I love this so much. I would, even if I had the money, I wouldn't buy this. Like, what would I do with it? Where would I put it?
It doesn't matter. That's the kind of thing that you would show off to everyone. Like, come here, you gotta fucking see this shit.
This is a fucking masterpiece right here.
Look at how dumb this is. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's just like, you look at some of these collector's editions and think that's the dumbest thing. But this is really just, this is wonderful. This is good news. I can't believe people are gonna buy this. They're gonna. Like, that's gonna happen. People are definitely gonna buy this. And that's
it's gonna sell out. 100%.
That's what's wrong with this country.
Yeah,
because these are the people that are complaining about they're complaining about $80 Switch games, but they're going to drop $666 on this
because it's funny. God damn it! It is funny.
It is funny. It's very, very funny. It's very silly. I am kind of half considering picking this. This is a really wonderful version of Doom, and I don't have that physically.
Right.
Not this current, like, just cleaned up version of the MS-DOS game running perfectly. But is Doom ever going to be a game that's not readily available? Because I don't think it is. Like, that's why I'm not really concerned. Yeah. Like, it's, sometimes you'll buy a physical game to be like, well, this is this physical thing. So if this goes out of print someday or becomes impossible to find, I have this physical thing that I can put into my system and play. this is Doom. It's playable on toasters. Like
it's playable on the fucking box of the game it comes in, like, or the box that the game comes in. Like, yes, you will be able to play Doom in the future. I would imagine. But
I'm not that concerned with it. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's see what we got next up. Games. This is an interesting story. GameSpot reports the latest CFB 26 news is not what you expect. EA Sports hasn't even officially announced College Football 26, but now more details about the game have emerged from an unexpected source. The home improvement chain Lowe's has announced a collaboration with EA Sports to feature its branding in CFB 26, along with the newest EA Sports FC and Madden NFL titles.
Cool. That's why I'm picking it up this year. Because you got Lowe's in there now? Shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Shit. Give me that
I was
DLC.
holding out for fucking Tractor Supply. And no shade to Tractor Supply. Like, I wear a lot of your shirts. It's fine. And I might buy a chicken because once a day, I don't know if you know this about chickens, but once a day they shit out bonus food. And I feel like that's going to be important here in the coming years. Okay. As long as the kids are getting paid, I don't fucking care anymore. Those kids deserve to get paid.
Hey, Madden and FC are coming to Switch too. Odd that they didn't announce college football as well, but maybe it's just because we don't know anything about that one yet. I would very much like the full EA Sports lineup to show up on Switch too. Not because I'm a fan of EA, but I just think sports games should be available to everybody. And
they should be.
Honestly, if they put a decent NHL game on there, I might have to pick it up sometime. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know why I'm whispering there. Anyway, moving on. Oh my god!
Do you feel compelled to whisper when somebody else whispers? Like,
this here, I can't believe this story. This has gotten me so excited because I didn't even know it was a thing. Go Nintendo reports Katana Zero free DLC nearing completion. I didn't know that this was ever a thing.
Still coming, still free.
Katana Zero came to Switch all the way back in 2019, and at that time, developer ASCIIsoft said they were working on free DLC. Well, we're all the way in 2025, and that DLC still hasn't dropped. The good news is that we finally got an update, and the DLC is still indeed in the works. So this is story DLC. Mm-hmm. I loved Katana Zero. That game fucking ruled, but it ended in a way that made me really want a sequel. And I was just under the impression that if I was ever going to get more of this story, it was going to be through a sequel. I didn't even know that they were doing DLC to continue the story. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm pretty excited. Did you watch any of this, the III initiative, that showcase that happened today?
Nope. Don't even know what that is.
Okay. So it was an independent game showcase where they showed off a bunch of trailers for a bunch of things. A lot of it coming to like PS5 and Switch, but it was very heavily PC focused. But at the very beginning of the show, it's like a 45-minute show or whatever, and they were like just some words flashing up on the screen. And it said, new trailers, world premieres, blah, blah, blah. And a one more thing, ? Like popped up on the screen. And it's like, all right. So you get to the end of the show and they show a trailer and they're like, that's it. Actually, that doesn't feel right. And then even though the news had come out like a day or two before, the one more thing at this III initiative showcase today was the Katana Zero DLC trailer. I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to replay this game once I know this DLC is coming out, because the game wasn't super long. But this game knocked my socks off. I loved this game. I'm so thrilled that they hadn't moved on. It seemed like the kind of thing that, like, okay, we made this game and it was a big success. Let's move on to the next thing. I really thought that they were just going to leave this story open, and oh boy,
boy. It's on my wish list. It goes on sale quite frequently. So I will definitely pick it up at some point. Like I actually was really there was a couple things that they showed off today on this little trailer thing that looked really, really cool, and I immediately like jumped onto Steam and was like, throwing that on the wish list, Like, there was some really cool shit. I posted one thing in the Discord chat, that Neverway trailer, that has the pixel art graphics are done by the same pixel artist from Celeste.
Okay.
That looks really fucking cool. Like, they showed off a couple other things. This game called Clover Pit looks really cool. Sacrifier looked cool. I don't know. There's a bunch of shit coming out pretty soon. Maybe I might be changing my tune on what I said on the fucking Ask Us Anything episode. Maybe I am becoming a PC dick. It's possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible with Jesus, Kris.
That's true. Oh, man, I just forgot what I was going to say. I had one more thing I wanted to mention, and it was interesting, and now I've lost it. It wasn't the Genesis games coming to Switch, because we kind of talked about that already. No,
right.
It's gone. Damn it. I had it, and I should have written it down. I was just thinking about it like, oh, that's what I should talk about, and no, it's gone.
Had it, lost it. I've got stuff on my hands.
Anyways, well, that's going to wrap things up for Week Old News, and that's going to wrap things up for this second segment. We're going to take ourselves another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what we've been up to. Yeah, I still haven't thought of a good name for it. So yeah, you're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
Nice.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
When you hear the words cross-stitch, you probably think of a grandma lovingly making a Christmas stocking, a picture of a lighthouse, or maybe a Bible verse with flowers. But that's not what we do at Shoot the Moon Stitches. We take the old-fashioned art of cross-stitch and pair it with contemporary themes and imagery to create striking works of art that make the perfect gift for anyone who grew up with the internet and has a wicked sense of humor and an appreciation for pop culture. From cult favorite TV shows and movies, to retro video games, to TikTok trends. If it's made you smile, chances are we've stitched it. You can shop our selection of art and gifts by going to Etsy.com and searching Shoot the Moon Stitches. For all your fun, feminist, fandom fiber art needs, visit Shoot the Moon Stitches.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Do you enjoy the Stone Age Gamer podcast and other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network? Do you wish you could listen to them sooner than the regular unwashed masses? Do you wish you could contribute in some way? Well, then you should check out the Geekade Patreon. Yes, the Geekade Patreon is a wonderful and very much appreciated way for you to help us pay the bills and keep our shows running week after week. As a Geekade patron, you'll get a monthly podcast topic schedule and early access to nearly every show on the Geekade Podcast Network, as well as access to a patron-exclusive monthly show called DC's Amazing Movie Time from the creators of the Weekend Rental podcast. So head on over to patreon.com/Geekade and become a loved and appreciated member of the Geekade Patreon team and get early access to shows like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this week's episode, Turning Tracks, and a whole lot more. See you there. All right, everybody, we're back. We want to talk a little bit about what we've been up to, and the thing that I was trying to remember was there was a story posted on... a story is kind of a harsh word. They posted it in the SAG podcast Discord, and it was a while back at this point already. Was it? There it was. All right, so it was Nintendo Life. It looks like Damon McFerrin at Nintendo Life was at one of these events and brought a bunch of other handhelds with him to compare the sizes of, like, what does the Switch 2 look like next to these various other systems.
Yeah.
And the one that surprised me the most was the Steam Deck. I really didn't... I thought that this was going to be closer in size to the Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck is still decently bigger than this thing.
It's a big system.
It's a chunky boy. Yeah. I've never held one, so that's some girth. I didn't really realize it, but I like that the Switch 2 is so similar in size to what looks like a 3DS XL. Like, it's like a 3DS XL with Joy-Cons on the side. It's a pretty okay size right there. I'm all right with that. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? A different thing that a prediction that I had made that I thought fell through, but now we're thinking of it a little bit differently. This is just an interesting Switch-related thing that I wanted to talk about that I completely forgot about. So one of my predictions was that they were going to do some sort of dual-screen thing with the Switch 2, right? Oh, yeah. And I thought to myself that once I saw it, the phone connectivity was going to be that. And then I saw it in action with Zelda, and it's not. Like, it's neat that you have that GPS in Zelda, but it's not running like a gamepad. It's running like... It's not even running like your Maps app. It's pretty choppy. Like, it's communicating with the phone like every second instead of like a constant stream. So it's not... Yeah. I was like, all right, that puts the kibosh on that. I thought they were going to...
It's a cute idea.
It is, and it's going to be... And I love the notion of something like that, of like this second screen experience that can just kind of be your phone. Doesn't have to be... like a constant, like, here's a full-on Wii U gamepad kind of a thing, just like a little companion. I think that's kind of neat. And I want to see where they go with that. But as far as it being like a second screen that could work as like a DS if you connected it to the top of your console, yeah, that's definitely not what this is. But a prediction that I had made a long time ago, like, or a hope, was like, wouldn't it be cool if you could use your existing Switch as a Wii U gamepad kind of situation? Right. This is pipe dream stuff way long time ago. So what we learned is that and I never would have pieced this together if I hadn't heard somebody explain the tech behind it. And I still don't know exactly how they came across the tech behind it. It must have been in one of the many interviews or things that they posted afterwards, but they made a big deal during the presentation about this download play thing. You know, DS games used to be able to do that download play. You could download the game from another system, and then you would both be able to play it with only one copy of the cartridge. And they showed this is the thing that they showed off with Clubhouse games. Like, again, I cannot fucking believe Clubhouse games was in this Nintendo Direct, but all right. Yeah. Not complaining. It's weird, really weird, but I love that game. Anyways, apparently the way that's working is not like DS Download Play. That is reusing the same tech that they did to make the Wii U gamepad work. It's literally like your Switch 2 is literally doing all the processing and is streaming the content to those other devices.
Neat.
To either other Switch 2s or Switch 1s. So with this knowledge, we now know that the Switch 2 is capable of using another Switch as a second screen, like a proper DS second screen. Like, that's just a thing this can do, utilizing the technology they mastered for the Wii U. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I really hope they do something with it. Like, I sincerely hope... Obviously, they can't just build tons of experiences around the notion that you also have a Switch, right? They're not going to build games around, oh yeah, you definitely have this. But they could definitely build options around that. Like, a game needs to be able to work without that functionality, but Mario Maker 3, with being able to use my original Switch as the controller to, like, use the touchscreen to build and then just be able to see it on my TV as well, or DS game and 3DS game emulation by being able to, like, have a connector to, like, physically, like, connect your Switch 1 and 2 together like a big old fat DS or something. Like, I don't know. There seems to be options here, and that is fascinating to me. That it's capable
that's super
of that.
interesting. Yeah.
There's so much potential for the future in this system. When I think of where like their systems start sometimes, as opposed to where they go, like, what kind of new weird shit are they going to throw our way with the Switch 2? Like, when the Switch 1 came out, nobody could have possibly foreseen Labo. But then that happened, right? Didn't take off the way they wanted it to, but still, that happened. So what other kind of weird shit are we going to get? I thought that was interesting. Anyways, what have you been playing this week? Anything fun? What's new in the world of Dan? What other exciting things did you do this week?
Let's see. What did we do? So we finished the Fallout TV show, which was, I know I'm super late on that, but it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Man, it was good. Like, and I don't love the Fallout games.
I've never played a Fallout game. I don't know shit about them, and I fucking loved that show.
Penn is currently super, super obsessed with him. She is all about Fallout currently. And, like, we actually started because we were watching Fallout on Thursday nights. And after the show finished, she was like, all right, like, until we find a new show to watch as a family, can we play New Vegas? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So we started playing New Vegas this week. And Penn is playing through as Tiff and I and Roddy sit there. And, like, we're all just kind of, like, hanging out together and playing through it and making dialogue choices and that sort of thing, which was fun. Like, it was really cool. But also, as we're going through, I was like, yep, this is why I don't fucking play Bethesda games. Because, like, instantly, there was 9 billion fucking choices and options and this quest and that quest. And I was like, all right, this is already too much. You fucking tell me where we're going. Just make me experience this story. But yeah, like, that's really cool. So, like, we started playing Fallout New Vegas, finished the TV show. Let's see what else. I think I mentioned it briefly on the show last week. But as I've talked about, my love for Disney, just kind of in general, and specifically for Figment. I fucking love that little purple dragon so much. I absolutely adore Figment. One of my very favorite characters of all time. And I really, really wanted to have him in Speedstorm. And I had missed all of the times that he was available when we all started collectively playing Speedstorm. And then he popped up in a box, and it was like, hey, if you spend $10, you can have Figment. And I was like, fucking stupid, but worth it. So I spent $10 of my Steam money that all of you graciously gifted to me, and now I have Figment and Speedstorm, and it makes me just so very happy. I just drive around the course in these fun Disney-themed courses with outstanding remixes of Disney songs, and I'm just Figment, and I just love it. So and what's fun now too is because that game runs like shit on the Switch, but runs really well on my kids' computers, on my computer. It runs perfectly on the Steam Deck, on the PlayStation. So we have more than enough ways to play where all four of us can play it competitively on our own screens. So the whole family can play it, and we're not doing like a Mario Kart situation where we've just got the TV sectioned off. We all have our own device, which is really cool because we can shout across the house. We can talk shit quite loudly, which is super fun. This is one of the cool things about Speedstorm is that it's very, very similar to Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart, except it's a little bit more aggressive. There is the right analog stick is dedicated to smashing into your opponents, and depending on the class of racer you are, that gives you certain buffs, right? So like with Figment, he's a trickster, so if I smash into another opponent using the analog stick, it gives me an item. So like, instead of having to drive through what are they in Mario Kart? Why can't I remember this now? Where you pick up items. What do you fucking drive through? Question blocks. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I'm either tired, drunk, or stupid. Or all three. So like when you drive through a question block, you get an item. There is a similar thing. You drive through the little Speedstorm logo, you get an item in Speedstorm. Or if you're a trickster, if you smash into a character, you also get an item. Just kind of like a cool thing. So we play this Mario Kart style racing game that's a little bit more aggressive, and we're like just yelling at each other from across the house. It's super, super fun. Absolutely love it. I am really, really continuously impressed with how much fun we are having with that game. Tiff and I finished Little Hope this week, which was another one of the Dark Pictures anthology games. We managed to only kill 2 of the people. No, 3. We made it out with 2, which was better than the last one. Because the devil in me, we killed everybody except for the dog. The dog made it out. This one, we walked away with 2 people. And the game really, it started really slow. And that's fine for these kind of choose your own adventure things, but it really picked up in the third act of the game. It got really interesting. And they're just, man, I just really fucking love those games, because they're scary and spooky in the way, and this is not a perfect comparison, certainly, but when I read scary stories to tell in the dark when I was a kid, and I was like, ooh, this is fucking creepy and scary, but kind of fun all at the same time. I feel the same way about these games. They're certainly much more adult than scary stories to tell in the dark, but they have the same kind of vibe, right? Of just this kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek, this is... We all know what we're here for. We know what we're getting up to. So I really, really just enjoyed the shit out of those games. And they're super fun to play, with the family, again, because we're making these, dialogue choices, right? And these are way more impactful of, you have these relationship meters, and it's oh, fucking Jimmy didn't like that. Jimmy didn't like that you called him a fucking twat. He is very upset with you. It's just this one was weird. It's all ghosts and shit. So I think we're gonna do Man of Medan next, which is a haunted ship kind of thing, which looks pretty sweet. And then we'll finish it off before there's a new one coming out, the new set of Dark Pictures anthologies, season 2. The next story is taking place in outer space, which looks fucking cool because space is really fucking scary to me. I don't know. I can't imagine anything I would like to do less than be an astronaut. I don't know how you feel about outer space, Kris, but
That's the final frontier.
Fuck it. It's so big. It's just, I don't know if you ever watch Pete Holmes. He's a stand-up comedian. He's very funny. He's like, space is infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is getting bigger. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, yeah, dude, I'm with you. Super fucking scary. No, not for me. So yeah, we're gonna jump into Man and Medan next, and then we'll do the House of Ashes, which is the Sumerian-based mythology thing. I don't know. It looks fucking cool. I'm excited about it. And then, did we do anything else this week? Oh, we fucking... Have you heard about this White Lotus show on HBO?
I've heard of it. I have not started watching it. Where,
Don't. It
okay.
fucking sucks. It was
Really?
so bad.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I've
Maybe
heard quite
you
the
will like
opposite.
it. That's what I've heard too. And I made it 3 episodes into this the current season. Because it's an anthology thing, so you don't need to start with season 1. So we're like, all right, fuck it, let's start with season 3. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think I made it 3 episodes in, and I was just so fucking angry at the show. It was so... Oh my God, I thought it was so fucking bad. Thought it was so bad. Tiff finished watching it, and I am glad that I didn't finish watching it, because there was just nothing for me by the end of it. It, like, yeah, I don't know. We started watching that this week. I think that's it. I think I've covered
Have you ever
everything.
played Outer Wilds?
No. I feel like I should. I feel like I would like it.
Too. I just saw a post because this is from Backlog Reviewer at Blue Sky. It says, every time a new game is described as like Outer Wilds, and I look into it and find it's because it has clever puzzles instead of an uplifting message of positive nihilism, it makes me feel nuts. The puzzles in Outer Wilds are excellent, but the emotional impact was what made it remarkable to me. That right there really sells me on that game. I really like the soundtrack of that game. I've heard the soundtrack a handful of times from when we were doing the Waveback Awards years ago, and it's just like, well, this is really good stuff. I'm very interested in it, and I know it came out on Switch. I wonder if it's going to get an updated version on Switch too.
That feels like a game that probably should, right?
Yeah, like I think it works fine on Switch. I don't know. It's been on my back burner for a little while now, of like just things I've been thinking about. And
didn't
I'd
we
like to try it?
Talk about that? There's a isn't there a sequel to that coming? Wasn't that just shown off at a something?
Outer Wilds 2,
or the other, or Outer Worlds?
Or was it Outer Worlds that's getting a sequel?
Oh, it's one of those two.
Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 2 is getting
Outer Worlds 2.
Yes.
Okay. There really should not be 2 games
that came out around the same time.
That came out around the same time that are Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds. That seems like, I don't know. So, man, yeah, I've seen a bunch of stuff for that game, and I am interested. And it's not super long. Like, I'm looking at it right now on how long to beat, and it's 17 hours for the main story. But I'm just trying to think, like, when that's like, I get it, Backlog Reviewer. I'm with you. I don't know when I would have the time with all the other stuff. Maybe in the future.
It's pretty well rated on Switch.
Yeah, like it's
Nintendo Life gave it a 9 out of 10.
It's apparently a very good game.
Anyways,
yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if I think of anything else. I'll interrupt you.
Sounds good.
Because I'm not actually listening. I'm just waiting for my turn to talk.
Good enough. No, this week's been pretty kind of sort of okay. It's been another week of primarily spending time learning more about what's going on with Switch 2. You know, just following the news, listening to podcasts, listening to interviews, and just, okay, what fresh hell are we bringing this week? Like, what other nonsense are you going to fart out in our general direction this week? Like, who the hell knows? Yeah. And again, it's like, I'm also really excited about it. I want to know what it's going to take for me to get one, and if I'm going to be able to afford to have one, and when I can get Mario Kart, Metroid, and Donkey Kong. Like, I really want to have those games in my life. But alas, but we still don't know about that. So in the meantime, I've been playing. Let's see. Well, just last night, I tried out the new Vampire Survivors DLC. They dropped their biggest free update ever with Saga Frontier content.
Yeah, that's wild.
What? Okay, I don't know anything
wild.
about Saga Frontier, but whatever. But that was only half of it, right? Half of it's Saga Frontier, but there's also this chicken-themed DLC called The Coop. And that's what I played. I looked at one of the new achievements and it was just like, pick up 400 floor chickens. And I'm like, I've done that by now. So if I just do a run, I'll pick up at least one floor chicken and then I'll unlock it. So I did, and it unlocked the new stage, the coop. So I go there and it's just a fucking like farm and then chickens just start showing up. And then just more and more chickens keep showing up until I was just murdered by an unfathomable onslaught of chickens. And that's when I stopped playing, because I just didn't have any more time. But like, yeah, thanks, I'm back. We're back. My 100% save file is gone. Gonna have to work my way back to 100% now, and I'm totally fine with it. More weapons, more Vampire Survivors, more gooder.
Yeah, right. Like, again, and man, sure, Mario Kart probably gonna be fucking worth it. But that game's $5.
Yeah. You want to talk about a value proposition? Vampire Survivors. Fuck. I hate this. Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing, guys.
Not for nothing. Fucking Fortnite. Like, I hate Fortnite, but.
Sure. But, yeah.
Who's spending $80 on Fortnite? Like, I mean, sure, a lot of people are, but also, like, the game itself, like, this to start off was free. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I get it. I do. But at the same time, fucking Vampire Survivors, man.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It's amazing.
It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. Most bang for your buck you could possibly get.
I made some really good burritos this week.
Okay.
There was what was the marinade involved orange juice, and it was just like, yeah, sure, I'll give this a shot. So we bought some London broil and marinated in this just fucking extraordinarily delicious marinade. And so my original plan for lunches this week was crab sandwiches, right? Because crab meat was on sale, and
sure.
I love that. There's this restaurant nearby that makes this crab sandwich. You would hate it. It's rye bread. But it's rye bread.
Yuck.
Rye bread, Swiss cheese, crab, and tomato. And probably Old Bay. And I fucking love this sandwich. And I'm like, well, I can just make that at home. You just got to get crab meat. So I bought one of those cans of fresh crab claw meat. It was so fucking tasty. But the tomatoes I bought went bad. And then I was like, wait a second. Surf and turf's a thing. It's like, fuck it. I'm just going to make burritos for lunch. I don't care if I have them for dinner, too. I'll eat burritos all day, every day. That's not a problem with me. So I decided to start, throwing the rest of the crab meat I had in with these burritos. And, oh, my fucking God. The first night we had it was, the meat was done fresh. And I put the burritos together and called it a day. But then I had it for lunch the next day. And I added the crab meat. And then I threw it on my griddler to grill the burrito down. Oh, fucking hell, man. Shit was delicious. All week long. Just, fuck me. I'm thinking about it right now. I would eat another one right now. my God. It was so good. Next week is the Ellie's school party, which I am also a room parent for. So I'm going to do. Did I talk about the cookies I was doing? Because I know I talked about those like brownie cupcake things. I made the test batch of cookies that dipped them in the white chocolate, and they came out fucking delicious. So I'm going to do that this week for them.
Very nice. Last Sunday, I made the Reddit soup. It's a creamy chicken tortellini soup. Fuck, it's good, dude. Holy shit. It's just a slow cooker soup, and it's super easy because, as we have discussed many times, I can't fucking cook. But I can throw shit in a slow cooker, and oh my God, is this stuff good. Like, it's just, it's super fucking filling, and it's got it's got fucking chicken thighs in it, which anything that calls for chicken thighs, I'm 100% into, because chicken thighs are obviously the best part of the fucking chicken. And just tortellini and cheese and spinach. And my God, it is fucking life-changing soup. I love soup, but this is like, all right, dude, like, blowjob? That's what you wanted for this? Done. Sold. So good.
I think that was about it for food. That was super exciting. I did today the Mario 2 record. You know, the Mario records that I've been getting on the Facebook group. The Mario 2 one went up for sale today. I bought the Fanto variant, which I'm really excited about. Very
nice. Yeah. That's clearly the choice.
Yeah, and it's a Mario, which that's what I thought. That was clearly the choice. And then when the sale went up, all the comments were just like, "Got to get that egg one. Got to get the egg variant." Like, now that made perfect sense to me for the Yoshi one, but like, that's not what Birdo eggs look like in Mario 2. They don't have the pink spots. Like, that one, the Yoshi one, I totally got. That's the one that I bought. The going with the Birdo egg over Fanto for this one just didn't feel right to me.
You're just not being serious at that point. That just
sounds crazy to me. Like, I would understand that a handful of people, but it was overwhelming. Like, I got to get the egg variant. The egg one's so cool. I got to get the egg. Like, wow, really? Over Fanto? No. Are we talking about the same game here? And it's like, you know, one side of it is one side of it's Mario 2, the other side's Doki Doki Panic. I'm so excited. So excited to get this one. I can say that I was having chats with one of the developers in Breakout Beyond, and I got some clarification. I have some off the record information that I can't share, which is fun because like
that is
somebody
fun.
told me something off the record. But I can share that there is an update coming, and they're going to be adding motion controls to it. They're going to add tilt, which is fantastic.
That's really awesome. Yeah,
that's
still
great. Cannot wrap my head around why it didn't have tilt to begin with, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished that game and I finished my review. The game's extraordinary. I'm really looking forward to playing it again once the tilt is added, because it's just Breakout, right? It's infinitely replayable. So
yeah,
good stuff. You finish it and you unlock the original arcade mode and an endless mode, which is pretty neat. But yeah. Oh, good. Let's see. I got a review code for a game called Skies Above. This is interesting. I played a few minutes of it so far. You are on the back of like a giant Leviathan floating whale thing, and your job is to defend it. So like all these orb things come out and they try to shoot down the Leviathan. And you can like, every time your Leviathan crashes, you like go to the shop and try to, up your abilities and weapons. But it's a really interesting battle system. Like these orbs show up floating around, and you like target one, and the whole thing is just try to make these chains between all these orbs and try to pull them off over and over again to try to keep the Leviathan flying as long as it can. It's a simple-ish kind of game, but it looks really neat. It's another one from Flynn's Arcade. That's good. It's off to a neat start. I'm very curious how this one's going to wind up if I spend a little bit more time with it. Because what the hell? I feel like I just downloaded something else, or I was going to. Oh, right, I was been playing Mario Kart 64 for some reason. A song from Mario Kart 64 got stuck in my head, and I was like, fuck, I haven't actually played Mario Kart 64 in a long time. So I busted up Nintendo Switch Online. I've been playing Mario Kart 64.
All right. I mean, fucking live the dream.
Oh, that game controls so different from modern Mario Kart. It's still a damn good game.
It is. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
Damn good, very good, damn good game.
Kind of sad I didn't make it out to the Nintendo World Store. Perfectly honest. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when I take a personal day. I'm probably just going to go to Ocean City and, like, hang out on the boardwalk and get pizza or something. Like, I don't think I'm going to drive 2 hours to have my personal day because I want to just be able to come home. But yeah, I really want to go to the Nintendo World Store again. I've been wanting to, like, take the kids there, and it didn't occur to me until I was talking to my friend Lisa, because I was trying to decide, like, can I pull this off? Can I go on this trip? So I was, talking to my friends about it and getting their input. And Lisa, she pointed out to me that she was like, well, why don't you take the train? I was like, well, that's my plan. I'm going to drive up to Secaucus and I'm going to take the train in. And she's like, no, drive to, like, Toms River or Red Bank and take the train from there. I was like, that didn't even occur to me.
Yeah,
like,
or Hamilton.
I just would think to just drive as far as I can and then take the train. And I was like, no, just take the train as far as you can. And that way you don't have to worry about rush hour traffic. And, like, well, that just makes this whole thing seem so much more manageable. Because then I'm not actively driving. I just have to sit on a train. I could watch a movie on my phone or something. Like, yeah, that's the way to do it. It kind of made the whole thing seem a little bit more doable. So, I don't know. A trip to the Nintendo World Store might be in my future. I don't know, in my immediate future. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the statement, but
I mean, it's definitely in your future. Like that, it's going to happen again at some point.
I really want to go back there because it's been years, and I rather enjoyed that. I rather enjoyed that place. No, big surprise.
Right? Who would have thought?
Yeah, seriously. I think that's I don't know. I think that's about it. All that I've got going on. I did figure out something with my sink. That's been kind of fun.
Okay.
So I had there was, like, a slow leak underneath my sink. The my garbage disposal was leaking a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I just put a towel down there because it was just like I ran the water full tilt, and just like an occasional drip would come out, and I was like, well, okay, like this shouldn't. I guess it's just been pooling up for a long time because I don't know how it got so wet down here. There's no water coming out of it. I don't understand what the trouble is, but I'm looking at it right now. I'm pouring, and the water is coming from the faucet as fast as it can, and it's just at most a very slow drip. So I'll just keep a towel down there, and it'll be fine. So I went to get something out from underneath my sink, and it was I hadn't checked on the towel in a couple of months, and it was sopping wet. There was mold all over the place.
Ugh, hate that.
How did this happen? This is a slow drip. How is it possible that this is this wet? And I figured it out. When you do something and you cook in a giant bowl, and then you have to fill up the giant bowl to let it soak. Yeah. And you pour out the giant bowl of water, and that's when it all came cascading. It's when there's a ton of water at the same time, it just pours out of the bottom of that thing. So when it's a constant stream of water, that's one thing. But if the sink fills and, like, the drain has to drain a ton of water at once, that's when you get just a ton of shitty dishwater pouring into the bottom of underneath my sink. So now I have a very important bucket underneath the sink. I've got that handled, but it's not fixed. So I'm Mike Sheridan, who is a drain cleaner. He said that I should just get rid of the garbage disposal entirely because, it's extraordinarily convenient. But the way he described it was you're effectively putting solids into a drain system that was designed for liquids. And I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. I don't like it because I love my garbage disposal. But at the same time,
I too like the garbage disposal. I am a fan.
I see the point. And it would be very expensive to replace the garbage disposal or to fix the leak. It was another one of those, like, when the plumber was here talking about my fucking fridge for $2,000 or whatever to fix that water line.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I think I can just get rid of the garbage disposal. I think that's the right call. And it's going to make me sad to get rid of the garbage disposal, but it's probably better for my pipes in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a bummer.
It is. It's nice to be able to just, like, not have to worry about sticking your hand in this thing and pulling all the food bits out and bringing the drippy-ass thing over to the garbage can.
Because it's gross.
Because it's gross, and I don't want to do that. But I guess we're moving backwards. I guess we're going to be moving back to that period in my life.
Well, I mean, maybe it's time to start churning your own butter, Chris.
Maybe it's time to start churning my own butter. Since I'm going to be a poor anyway.
Right? If you're going to be a filthy fucking poor, you might as well, make some mud pies and, sell feet pics.
Hey, you know what I just remembered?
You do what you got to do. Yeah.
There's a new Shinobi and a new Ninja Gaiden coming this year.
It's a good year, Chris. There's a lot to fucking look forward to. There's so much to look forward to. There really is.
I'm stoked about it.
There's a lot of shit that we have to wade through as well. I know, man, like I look at just the games that I have on my Steam wish list are nuts. Like of stuff that doesn't even have a release date or anything yet on my Steam wish list. I've got, let me see, Mariachi Legends, Mouse PI for Hire, Devil Jam, Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. There was not a 1 and 2. That's what makes that funny. Death Howl, Neverway, Sacrifier, Into the Fire, Clover Pit. That's just shit without fucking like release dates. And that's not shit that we talked about at all in our preview because I didn't know about any of that shit yet. Like, dear God. Then there's Ninja Gaiden. Then there's Shinobi. Then there's all the other stuff. There's Ghost of Yotai. There's fucking Metal Gear Solid Delta. There's
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4. Death Stranding 2. Like, there's so much. Oh, God. And a farming sim. I'm going to find one that's going to change my life.
Well,
I
think that about wraps it
farming
up.
Sim, obviously.
I got nothing else to add. It's getting late. We've been at this for, where are we at?
Only about 3 hours.
Just crossed the 3-hour mark. That's good. No, we can't do 4.5 hours every week, guys.
I mean, not with that attitude.
All right, that's the end of that chapter. Thanks. That is our show. Join us next time for the Alphabet Super Series. Dan's pick was the letter V, and Dan's pick for the letter V was Beautiful Joe, a game that I sincerely hope lands on NSO on Switch 2. But in the meantime, I will boot up my GameCube copy and just be happy to be here. Find time to play it this week.
Spoilers.
Good pick.
It's fucking great.
It's still great. Yeah.
Spoilers.
So yeah, I'm trying. I was just distracted by the fact that I now need to pick a W game. Like, shit.
I like that. You went with a very Eddie Izzard closing. I like to close my shows on a kind of yeah, and I feel that we've done so. Good night.
We are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts as well as all manner of other fun stuff like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by banjo guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.